and on the Dukes Highway near Keith. The driver of the van, also 43, was not injured in the crash. On Sunday, a male cyclist was killed in a crash at Roland Flat. A driver has rammed his car into a crowd at a sports centre in southern China, killing at least 35 people. Hannah Sinclair reports.
Horrific pictures emerging from the scene show dozens of people lying on the ground after a car ploughed into crowds at a sports centre in southern China. Witnesses describing the driver's actions as being deliberate. Police arresting a 62-year-old suspect as he attempted to flee the scene, who is now in a coma due to self-inflicted wounds. Police allege the driver carried out the atrocity after becoming angry over the outcome of a property settlement following his divorce. The incident has sparked national outrage in China, with mourners attending the scene to lay flowers.
Labels like toxic addiction and poison in every puff will soon be printed on individual cigarettes. Manufacturers will need to make the change by April next year to meet new guidelines, but industry sources say they're not sure whether manufacturers can make the transition in time. Meta has picked up a Choice Shocky Award in the latest blow to the social media giant's reputation. They've been under heavy criticism for failing to protect young users. Scams on the company's platforms have accounted for 76% of all reported losses in the last year. Choice editorial director Mark Searles says they need to step up.
It's really brutal. There's just scams everywhere, and not only are they everywhere, but Facebook gets revenue from paid advertising to put some of these scams in front of Australian consumers, and we don't think they're doing enough to identify and strike them off the site.
Multiple flights to and from Bali are cancelled. A volcano has erupted in Indonesia, spewing molten ash 5 kilometres into the air. Jetstar, Qantas and Virgin passengers are all being affected. Burma the elephant has spent her first night at Monarto. She was given a rock-star welcome yesterday after touching down at Adelaide Airport mid-afternoon. A police escort from the metro area to the safari park running smoothly, with no major traffic hassles despite being peak hour. Seven's Casey Trelaw says now she has to acclimatise to her new surroundings.
This quarantine will be dependent on her, or dependent on, how well she takes to the environment. No doubt there will be challenges. She's gone from a pretty lush and green enclosure over there in Auckland to essentially the dirt and desert safari-like conditions out at Monarto.
The United States is thanking the Royal Australian Navy for helping locate and identify an American warship sunk in World War II. USS Edsall was attacked by Japanese dive bombers about 400 kilometres east of Christmas Island. There were no survivors. US Ambassador to Australia, Caroline Kennedy, says it's an important piece of history.
This is part of our continuing efforts to honour those who made the ultimate sacrifice. We will now be able to preserve this important memorial and hope that the families of the heroes who died there will know their loved ones rest in peace. We will tell their stories, learn from their bravery, and be inspired by their sacrifice.
Now turning to FIVEAA Sport.
Enjoy 10-year warranty and capped price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi Nailsworth and the new Agostino Mitsubishi Mawson Lakes.
And now here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. South Aussie Alex Carey's hot run of form has continued after he smashed 75 from only 63 balls to help guide SA to a 6-wicket one-day cup win against New South Wales at Adelaide Oval. The home side chased down the target of 198 in the 39th over, meaning they picked up the bonus point and jumped to the top of the table. Well, Alex de Minaur's ATP Finals campaign will end in the group stage after a second defeat to Daniil Medvedev. De Minaur admits he needs to keep working hard to challenge the game's top 10.
That's something that I've always wanted to be a part of, and it's been an incredible experience so far. Everything from just being here, the fans, how we get treated. Everything's been great except for my results.
Meantime, Nick Kyrgios has revealed he was given just a 15% chance of making it back to the tennis tour. The former world number 13 has declared he will play at the Australian Open after overcoming 2 knee surgeries and a wrist reconstruction. To football, the Hawthorn is set to be the primetime Kings in 2025. The Hawks to play in the first 2 Friday night games of the season, including against Essendon in round 1. Meantime, 5 Crows and 3 Port players have made the women's All-Australian squad. Ebony Marinoff is a great chance to be selected in the final team, which would be her 7th Blazer. And Netball Australia is looking at adding New Zealand sides to Super Netball, but it won't happen next year. The fixture has been released and defending champions the Adelaide Thunderbirds will open their season with a grand final rematch against the Melbourne Vixens in a match on April 5th. And that's the FIVEAA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now the 5AA forecast.
Stay cool. Service your aircon at Automasters. And keep cool with Cool Now, Pay Later options.
23, partly cloudy today. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, 23. Friday, mostly sunny, 29. And Saturday, a shower or two developing, 34. Currently, it's 15. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Hi, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years, the Lynn Andrews team have made it easy for landlords to manage residential and commercial property. From single homes to multiple commercial holdings, our passion for property investment means we have a great deal of knowledge. How to do it safely and properly, matching the right tenant with the right property every time. We're here to help you. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
Visit Jarvis Toyota's brand new undercover home in Brighton Road, Somerton Park, and take advantage of savings across the Toyota certified pre-owned range. Enjoy the same feeling you get with a new Toyota at Jarvis, with all certified pre-owned vehicles tested and backed by Toyota, including a full service history and 90-point safety check. Toyota certified pre-owned, in a class of its own. Your Toyota journey starts at the new Jarvis Toyota, Brighton Road, Somerton Park, proudly celebrating 23 years of great deals.
BJ Energy don't just install solar and battery systems, they optimise everything to do with solar, squeezing every bit of energy out of the sun to help take control over your energy bills. And because BJ Energy are fully qualified electricians, they can help you in all things home energy, solar repairs and maintenance, EV chargers, lighting, switchboard upgrades, heat pump systems and more. Contact BJ Energy for a free consultation. Package deals and payment plans available. bjenergy.com.au.
Ever had the feeling you're being watched online? Scammers are always looking for new ways to con you. They're criminals and they're clever. But Australian banks have joined forces in the war against them. Intelligence sharing between banks will identify new types of scams faster. A new payment system to ensure you pay the right person is being rolled out. Unique identity checks will defend against identity theft. And there'll be more double checks when you're paying someone new. Australian banks are working to protect you.
Head to the gorgeous Adelaide Hills for the Oakbank Twilight Races this Friday. Gates open from 1:30pm with plenty of action on and off the track. Perfect for family Christmas parties with hospitality options available online. The Oakbank Twilight Races is family friendly with after-race entertainment including live band Purple Monkey. There's plenty of food options too with food trucks and pop-up bars. Tickets and hospitality options are selling fast. Visit oakbankracingclub.com.au now. Gamble responsibly. The 2024 Multicultural Festival is on Sunday the 24th of November in Taunton.
Adelaide wakes up with 5AA, David Penberthy and Will Goodings, Tom Wren for sport, Jade Robran on the scene as it happens, Graham Goodings and Jess Adamson with the news that matters to Adelaide. Breakfast with David and Will, bringing together the names you trust with everything you need to know to start your day. Always live, always local and only on 5AA. Always Adelaide. Is 5AA.
Drive away in the Tucson Hybrid by Hyundai from just $46,990 drive away. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
6:09. Good morning to you. Welcome to Wednesday on 5AA Breakfast. It is the 13th of November. Jade Robran's on deck this morning. We'll check in with her before 7 o'clock today. Wednesdays mean questions of etiquette, a touch of etiquette after 6:30. Moral quandaries of our time will be resolved after 6:30 today. Really looking forward to Sean Fuster today. We go around the courts with Sean each and every Wednesday morning. No one does a better job of taking you inside the courtroom. We've asked him this morning to take us through what it's going to look like, what it's going to mean, what we're going to hear and learn when David Speers appears in court this Friday, the former opposition leader, of course, quitting politics, necessitating the by-election of Black on the Saturday. Does he even have to turn up? What are the circumstances? What do we learn about the charges? All that kind of stuff. If you've got questions, Sean Fuster will answer them for you after 7:30 today. Also, we're putting 2 more people in the running to win this ultimate cruise holiday, valued at $18,000, no less. It's 2 tickets worth $9,000 each. This wonderful Silver Sea cruise to Singapore, thanks to Phil Hoffman Travel. Stay listening. The cruise ship boarding call will be sounded twice over the course of the morning. If you can be fast and call in, it could well be you. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, listeners. Good morning, Will. I'm looking forward to Sean's segment because I don't know the answer to any of those questions myself.
No.
It's going to be interesting, and obviously interesting timing too, with the by-election scheduled for the day after, less than 24 hours after David Spears is or isn't in court. The Libs are going to be seeking to hold on to his seat down there. The margin's pretty tight. It's only 2.7%, so we're going to be all over that story. Matt Abraham as well, very much looking forward to catching up with Matt when he's in tomorrow. Always the best in the business when it comes to sorting the wheat from the chaff.
Well, as Matt said, let's see that ultimately we say things like 2% or 1.7% or whatever it was in Nord, but we're talking about a couple of hundred votes. That's all it takes. So once you're down to a couple of hundred people changing their mind, there can be some very minor things that actually play a major role. For example, does David Spears arrive in court on Friday? Because that would mean the Saturday morning paper is probably a picture of him walking into court. Do 15 people pick up the advertiser on Saturday morning and go, I'm not rewarding this?
Or conversely, do they go, that poor man?
Absolutely.
I reckon the biggest danger for the Libs is that a lot of people feel great in black, feel sympathy for him, and feel regretful that they've lost him as their local member because they think he was a really good local member.
And so they don't want to reward the Libs.
Well, I don't know if they're blaming the Libs for what happened. I don't think anyone's suggested or even hinted that the leaking of the photograph was the doing of the Liberal Party. I mean, who knows how it came about, but it wasn't a political hit as such. Sounds like it was some soured acquaintance type scenario, or perhaps someone who stitched him up and he thought they'd, have a bit of fun at his expense by snapping that photograph. But, I mean, in black, as we've said before, Jade couldn't find anyone who disagreed with David Spears' assertion that it's a fake. So there's just going to be the loss of the personal vote, which is nothing particularly, negative for the Liberals, other than if enough of his personal vote evaporates, they lose, which is extraordinary. You know what's really weird? And part of this, I guess, is the fact that, like all businesses, the media is tighter with the pennies than it once was. There's been no polling done at all, of what people think of the South Australian government. The last poll that was conducted on the South Australian government was the 2022 state election.
Yep.
There's been no news poll, there's been no Galaxy poll, there's been no, Gallup polls, anything. Ties hasn't done one.
Well, the Ties has done they exit polled 100 people walking out of the voting booths in black. They voted, and now we don't know which booths either, by the way, as well. So, take this with a pinch of salt. They asked 100 people, 47 said they were voting for Alex Dyton, 37 said Amanda Wilson for the Libs, the rest were voting for minor parties.
Well, that's a sample. It's a vaguely indicative sample. I tell you what, though, if that's it, then
that's it.
Good night, nurse.
Yeah, that's right. So we don't know where those booths are located in the seat of black, but you're right. That's the closest thing we've got to any form of actual polling in South Australia. Part of the thing people don't realise, and you do, having edited newspapers in the past, is it's very expensive to commission a poll, isn't it?
Yeah, it costs a lot of money. Like from memory, to do a proper news poll. Oh, hang on. No, I think it was at least $4,000.
Yeah.
And that was just a real entry-level one.
So you've almost got to be able to pitch what you think the story is going to be before you get the poll results, don't you, to justify it, to say, no, this is... Because what we think is this is going to sell papers because it's going to be such a big story. Because then the last thing you want to get back is some lukewarm poll result that says, actually, there's no real yarn here.
No, that's right. That's right. But part of it can be confirming hunches. Because if you cover politics day in, day out, like in the lead up to the 2022 election, I remember talking to the Australian saying, and they always do state-by-state news polls, but with that one, I remember saying to them, is it worth doing one earlier? Because it feels like there is actually something significant happening where in Malinauskas, Labor has a very presentable candidate. And I said, I'm hearing a lot of Lib voters, a lot of people in business saying, this bloke's really good. And was getting the sense that business was turning off Marshall. And in the end, the news poll that the Oz got absolutely, totally predicted the election result the day before.
Do you, part of the reporting this morning by Paul Starrick and others at the Tiser, quotes senior sources in the Labor Party who have some concerns that this by-election might be an opportunity for people to whack the Labor brand because of Anthony Albanese's lack of popularity? Do you think there's anything in that, or is that a case of everyone wants to be the underdog going into an election?
Well, I mean, he was here 2 Sundays ago, the Prime Minister. It's not his job to win the black by-election. You know, the fact that there's no Albo presence in Hallett Cove is the world's least surprising development. But having said that, the fact that the guy, he almost seems to be putting in his diary one major scandal that's going to take an entire week to stuff him up. So in order, it's been Copacabana and the way they handled that. That's not knocking him for buying a house, by the way. That's knocking him and his team for the way they totally mismanaged the story. The second, just the woeful death of 1,000 cuts of the endless eking out of information about all of his Qantas upgrades. And now Rudd. They just there's probably more things Rudd said about Trump that are going to pop out at some point.
Sounds like he couldn't help himself.
I know. It's like he had a sort of Donald Trump-related version of, some sort of behavioural disorder where he just has a compulsion to rant about Trump in front of live microphones. So, not surprising that that Labor's a bit concerned, because more broadly, I think everyone in the Labor Party is concerned about Albanese's performance. I think the bigger problem they've got is that when it comes to the cost of living questions, it feels like the Albanese government just doesn't even exist. Like it's just letting ordinary people bob around like corks in the ocean. The crap that you hear from Chris Bowen about renewables, our renewables future. So, no, this was a specific question about our current power bills. There's just nothing that's connecting with people's day-to-day. So, yeah, that part of it could be a stuff the lot of is. Yet, here in SA, we started the week talking about, You Beauty. We got Gather Round number 3 coming up.
Gather Round announcement Monday. The Velo 500 will be taking place on Saturday as well. Feels like there's a bit going on. So we'll see how that all congeals on Saturday when we start to get some results through later on as well. All right, let's take a break. News headlines are coming up next. Remember, you can interact with the program by texting on the Duttons text line. Duttons car dealerships in the Adelaide Hills and Murray Bridge. They're easy to do business with, or simply by calling 8223 0000.
Drop everything and get into Chemist Warehouse. Stock up on Nature's Own Magnesium Plus Energy Effervescent 20 tablets, only $6. Or get Henry Bloom's VitaQuick Vitamin C 50ml spray, only $14.49. Chemist Warehouse. Great savings every day.
Adelaide's local, trusted and truly connected talkback radio station. 5AA. Always Adelaide.
You can always expect the professional treatment with Paint Professionals.
I would definitely recommend Paint Professionals to others, and in fact we already have recommended them to other families and friends who need to hurry up and get a house on the market.
Nothing was too much trouble. Cleaned up really well after them. If we had any small changes that needed, they were always there as a sounding board. Did a really good job throughout the entire process. Made it easy, which was fantastic.
Make it a great experience with Paint Professionals. Visit paintprofessionals.com.au.
Shopping should be exciting, not dull. An adventure, not a chore. And fresh, not routine. So experience something new at Newton Central with Drake's, Serenity Hair & Co, Fandy Scissorhands, Terry White Chemist, Glitter and Polish Nail Salon, and many more. Including the brand new Séjour Club, an independent boutique with one-of-a-kind handcrafted apparel and jewellery from 2 local designers. Want something new in your life? Choose a new local. Choose Newton Central, Gorge Road, Newton.
If you're in business, manufacturing, warehousing, really any business, Sharman Shelving can help you keep everything organised. They're a real time saver, and as we know, time is money.
Bill and his team at Sharman Shelving, they've been doing it for years in businesses all over SA, improving workflow efficiencies.
Sharman Shelving can help revolutionise the space you have, no matter how big or small. And if you're worried about the cost, well, remember, Sharman Shelving isn't just about short-term fixes. It's an investment in long-term organisation with affordable solutions and designs for any budget.
So get in touch with Bill for a free measure and quote. He'll gladly show you what's possible. Every business needs a little shaman. Sharmanshelving.com.au or take a look on Facebook.
It's 2024 NAB AFLW finals time. This weekend, the action hits Norwood Oval as Adelaide takes on Fremantle in a huge clash. Finals footy is here. You won't want to miss it. For just $15 a ticket and under 18s free, it's your chance to experience AFLW finals footy live and up close. So what are you waiting for? Visit women's.afl to get your tickets now. Finals. See you at the W.
See you at the W, yeah. $20,000. Sounds awesome, yeah? Imagine winning it. Edwardstown Mazda and only Edwardstown Mazda is giving you the chance to win $20,000. Buy a new, demo or used car from Edwardstown Mazda during their incredible 2024 plate clearance sale and you're in the draw. Why would you go anywhere else? Your dream Mazda and $20,000? It's gotta be Edwardstown Mazda, the #1 destination for Mazda in SA. T's and C's apply. T24/1786.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Drive away in the Tucson Hybrid by Hyundai from just $46,990 drive away. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
22 minutes after 6 news headlines on this Wednesday morning. Well, we got our elephant. Burma was given a police escort through the western suburbs up Glen Osmond Road onto the freeway yesterday. We saw lots of people perched themselves on the overpass on the freeway, and we're watching it go past in this giant rectangular box on the back of a big flat top truck.
In a very literal sense, this was bigger than the Beatles.
It was bigger than the Beatles.
But there was something Beatles-esque about it. And look, we'd love to hear from you folks. 8223 Did you make a special trip out to watch Burma arrive?
Let us know. Well, people got down to the airport because there was, in fact, a special designed jumbo jet for the purpose of moving big animals that did land. So lots of interest. Casey Trawler was covering it for Channel 7. She spoke to Leith Forrest last night about the logistical exercise of getting Burma to Adelaide.
Very complicated exercise to get her from Auckland and onto the plane. She spent months and months doing crate training, getting her, comfortable being in that crate. It's not all that, it looks big, but it's carrying a big elephant. She didn't have a whole lot of room in there.
I was thinking about this elephant from living in Auckland at a zoo, thinks about going up the freeway. Looking at the traffic peering out. It'd be a bizarre experience for it. Anyway, it's here now.
Pretty well-travelled elephant.
30 days worth of quarantine just to acclimatise, and then you'll be able to see Burma very, very soon. We've got some little information about this. The flights between Bali and Australia have been cancelled as a result of smoke from a volcanic explosion last week. A 5-kilometre high ash cloud is to blame. One flight from Melbourne, passengers were stuck in a plane for 3 hours on the tarmac before being told their flight isn't taking off. Jetstar says they'll operate 2 return services today. We actually got contacted by our good mate Dave from Alberton, who knows some people on the planes. A short time ago, he said there were people sitting on the tarmac last night for 3 hours before being told the flight home to Melbourne was cancelled by Jetstar. Another group to Sydney via Virgin are getting a full refund, but being told it could be 8 days before they can get a flight home.
Wow.
I guess there's worse places to be stuck than...
It's happened a lot. My sister and her husband and kids, when they were young, they got stuck for about 10 days in Bali.
Did they?
Yeah, and Bet couldn't get back to school and because she works as a piano teacher, and it was a total shambles. And they got put up in a really crappy hotel as well. And it sounded like it was kind of... Well, I was talking to her going, how good's that? You got a whole another week's extra holiday. She's like, yeah. It's not really going according to plan, and they'd run out of dough.
Okay, that's less fun. Mo and Paralawi's called in on 8223 0000. Morning to you, Mo.
Morning, boys. How you going? Just bringing up, letting you know about an incident on the corner of South Road and Burbridge Road. Just a 2-car crash, but it's blocking northbound south traffic. Like it's coming from the south heading north. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, good on you, Mo.
It's going to be
good on you for calling it Burbridge Road too. I still say Burbridge Road. I don't say Donald Bradman Drive.
Well, part of it is still Burbridge Road as you get over Tapley's Hill towards the ocean. I think that bit's still called Burbridge Road.
Just past.
But yeah, everyone calls it Burbridge Road, the entire length of it. Thank you for that, Mo. Mo exhibiting that great Australian ability to communicate meaning by saying the exact opposite too.
That's right.
It'll be fun. 23 degrees the expected top today, partly cloudy. Top of 23 as well tomorrow, mostly sunny. 29 on Friday, that's when the heat starts to come, mostly sunny Friday. 34 on Saturday with a shower or two developing. Then it drops away to 21 on Sunday. So between Saturday and Sunday, somewhere between 0 and 4 mils of rain is what the Bureau is forecasting. Then it's dry for Monday, the 18th of November, 23. Tuesday, mostly sunny and 25.
Hey, can anyone who's actually handy tell me, is it okay to lay bricks, like to make a brick wall, if it's raining a bit? My hunch is it doesn't matter. If you get a little bit of rain, because the cement's wet anyway, to hold the bricks together, unless it's an absolute deluge.
Got any...
Because I've got a hot
brickies?
date with a pile of bricks on the weekend.
Yeah, right.
I'm making something.
Any brickies with tips for David?
Yeah, let me know.
Laying during the rain, let us know.
I'm less than a man. I don't know those sorts of
I know
answers.
you didn't waste any time asking me, which is
no, exactly.
well informed.
I looked at Will, I thought I might just ask the listeners.
Tom Wren's in the studio, sharing his expertise in the world of sport. Enjoy 10-year warranty and cap price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi Nailsworth and your new Agostino Mitsubishi Mawson Lakes. Morning to you, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. You're definitely not getting any help from me either, I'm sorry to say. So, yeah, you're drawing a blank.
I got no idea when it comes to that sort of stuff.
No.
But,
What are you making?
I'm making like a Mexican outdoor cooking area.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, like a wood-fired thing. Hard to describe.
Yeah, great. Well, you'll have to send us pictures.
I will, mate.
Yeah,
well,
beautiful.
I'll get you down. You can
yeah,
use it.
Beautiful. Even better.
Have a few Coronas around the chimenea.
Boys, I'm starting to believe that South Australian cricket might never lose again.
Make the case, Rennie.
They are. It is something. There's something wrong with the world. Are we dreaming? I just don't know what's going on, but they just keep winning. And they embarrassed New South Wales yesterday. They smashed them by 6 wickets. They got a bonus point. It's funny. People do love that side. I live for the Facebook comments after South Australian cricket results for the men, because they either absolutely go to town or it's like, you know, the best thing ever. And at the moment, it's one extreme to the other, and it's the nice extreme at the moment.
I think you're right. There is a weird kind of affection and love for the Redbacks. Because everyone remembers the last win in the 90s. I actually have this funny feeling if there was a Shield final played at Adelaide Oval, there'd be a pretty reasonable crowd there.
I think massive.
Yeah.
Because I reckon when they had the home final, they had to play it in Alice Springs for some reason. It might have been during, or something happened. There was a scheduled clash. It was before COVID, I reckon.
Right.
But I don't reckon they've had a final here
No.
since that one. They played away finals, not won the title, and you know, they're a chance at the moment. They're top of the one days. They're top of the, or second in the Shield, but very, very close. So there's a chance. I mean, look, it's still early, but there is a chance.
They're going to lose 3 players to the Test team.
So that's what happens when you play well. Your players go out. Now, Carey and Head have been in the Test side for some time, but Nathan McSweeney now, who's a really critical piece. I mean, he's their captain.
Yeah.
So, like I've said, I think it's their best squad, depth-wise, for 30 years. You know,
when the Test start, the series against India starts, that's it for McSweeney. He's out, isn't he, of the Redbacks for the rest of the summer?
That'd pretty much be it until very, very late.
As are Head and Carey.
Yeah,
yeah.
Exactly. So it's going to make it
it's
hard.
Quite a different team after that, isn't it?
Yeah. And look, I think their bowlers are fantastic, but the batting's the issue. But let's enjoy the ride while it's going. So it's great. Speaking of enjoyment, well done to the 8 women who have made it into the All-Australian squad. That squad will be trimmed back, particularly, I think, Ebony Marinoff, one of 5 Crows, Chelsea Biddle, Caitlin Gould, Ebony Marinoff, Danielle Ponta, Chelsea Randall, and then for Port, Emily Borg, Sinead Goody, and Matilda Scholes. I think Scholes could be the best player in the comp in a couple of years. I think she's that good. But Marinoff, 9th time she's been in the squad, it will be her 7th All-Australian Blazer. She could win the
9 times in the squad is just ridiculous.
It's crazy. She is playing unbelievable. She could win the medal for the best player in the whole league, I think. So well done to those 8 players in the squad for the Crows and Port.
Great good little reminder too on the Dutton's text line from Com tomorrow night. The
Socceroos.
Yeah, that's going to be massive.
Game.
So
Huge.
Australia v Saudi Arabia,
Yep.
and it's on free to air, Channel 10 at 7:30. As Con Riley points out, that's a head-to-head clash with Australia B versus Pakistan in the T20.
Phil also points on the Duttons text line that the cricket team aren't called the Redbacks anymore. Well, they might not be officially, Phil, but in this room they'll forever be the Redbacks.
Yeah, completely.
Okay?
They live on.
This is we're deliberately getting it wrong out of defiance.
You guys have probably still got the merch somewhere, haven't you?
Yeah, we have a Redbacks top somewhere.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Good on you, Randy.
But no, going well. Thanks, boys.
Thanks, Tom.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Partly cloudy and 23 today with the 6:30 news. I'm Graham Goodings.
Chipped windscreen? RAA approved repairer Complete Windscreens repairs it from just $99. Find the big red koala.
Another cyclist has died on our roads. A 43-year-old man passed away yesterday after colliding with a van on the Dukes Highway near Keith. The driver of the van, also 43, was not injured in the crash. On Sunday, a male cyclist was killed in a crash at Roland Flat. A driver has rammed his car into a crowd at a sports centre in southern China, killing at least 35 people. 45 others have been injured in one of the deadliest attacks in modern Chinese history. The 62-year-old man behind the wheel has been detained and hospitalised for self-inflicted wounds. A number of flights between Australia and Bali have been cancelled by multiple airlines due to volcanic ash. A huge eruption last week has sent ash high into the air. Jetstar, Qantas and Virgin Australia flights have all been impacted. Today, reporter Erin Ramsey says it's unclear how long the disruption will continue.
Ash cloud continues to impact the flight path into Denpasar from Australia. Now, this all unravelled yesterday evening with flights cancelled to Bali from Australia right across the country. Some of those flights had already taken off and were a couple of hours into their journey when they had to turn around and return to Australia.
Defence Minister Richard Marles is in town today to sign a key construction contract ahead of Australia's $368 billion nuclear submarine project. It comes despite uncertainty over the AUKUS Pact's future following the election of Donald Trump. The contract signing will see preparatory work at Osborne Naval Shipyard, the recruitment of workers and setting foundations for the project. Richard Marles says the agreement is another major milestone towards the construction of nuclear-powered submarines in Adelaide. Individual cigarettes will have health warnings printed on their butts under new regulations which kick in next year. Gabriel Hodson reports.
Light up a cigarette in April and you'll be puffing on a small printed message about what they do to your health. They'll range from poison in every puff to causes 16 cancers. But News Corp says the industry fears they won't be able to sort out the right printing and other equipment in time, meaning cigarettes without the warnings can't be sold. A 3-month transition period starts April 1st as retailers get rid of existing stock, but stores won't be able to buy new supplies without the printed warnings. In a worst-case scenario, Australia could see a period where not one single legally compliant cigarette is available, pushing more smokers towards illegal tobacco.
The Archbishop of Canterbury has resigned as he faces criticism over his handling of a child abuser. Justin Welby has issued an apology after a summer camp leader was found to be one of the most prolific abusers linked to the Church of England. Well, it's your final day to see Wong Wong and Phu Ni at the zoo. Mel Usher has the details.
After 15 years, our giant pandas are going home. They arrived with much fanfare in 2009. There was a countdown clock on Anzac Highway before the then 4-year-old Wong Wong and 3-year-old Phu Ni touched down in SA. And they've drawn big crowds to the zoo over the past decade and a half, but the pair were unable to produce a baby panda and are now headed home to be replaced by 2 new pandas. Today is the final day you can see the pair at the zoo. The bamboo forest will close at 5 o'clock tonight.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Enjoy 10-year warranty and capped price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi Nailsworth. Enjoy 10-year warranty and capped price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi Nailsworth and the new Agostino Mitsubishi Mawson Lakes.
And good morning, Tom Wren.
Very good morning to you as well, Graham. On the eve of a massive Test summer, a former Australian captain has defended resting star players for a poor showing in the recent one-day series loss to Pakistan. Mark Taylor has told Wide World of Sports resting players has been the case for a number of years, not just about one-day games, but it's about the whole summer.
The problem Australia have got is that they've got these 5 Test matches coming up against India, and they're all pretty close together. And they're putting a lot of eggs into that basket. They want to win all these Test matches, or certainly win the series at worst, because India have beaten us here the last 2 times.
Meantime, South Australia has recorded another one-day cup win, this time against New South Wales by 6 wickets to jump to the top of the table. Alex Carey continued his rich run of form with 75 from only 63 balls, as SA chased down the target in the 39th over, meaning they also picked up a bonus point. Well, 8 players from Port and the Crows have made the women's All-Australian squad. Emily Borg, Sinead Goody and Matilda Scholes in from Port Adelaide, while the Crows' Ebony Marinoff, Chelsea Randall, Caitlin Gould and Danielle Ponta, along with Chelsea Bedell, have also been included. And Alex de Minaur's best year on the tennis tour will end, unfortunately, with a disappointing group stage exit at the ATP Finals. He's lost his second round match to Russian Daniil Medvedev 6-2, 6-4. Aussie pairing Jordan Thompson and Max Purcell have also lost their second match, but are still in contention. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now the 5AA forecast.
Stay cool. Service your aircon at Automasters. And keep cool with Cool Now, Pay Later options.
Partly cloudy, 23 today. Tomorrow also 23, but mostly sunny. Friday, mostly sunny, 29. And Saturday, a shower or two developing, 34. Currently, it's 15. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Drive away in the Tucson Hybrid by Hyundai from just $46,990 drive away. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
24 minutes to 7. We're going to take some calls before we get to a touch of etiquette. Lucy's in the studio. There's a religious bent to the touch of etiquette this morning. This is interesting. This is better than census data that Lucy's going to get us today, I suspect. Before we get there, let's head to Richmond. Stacey's on the line. She called in on 822 300. Morning to you, Stacey.
Good morning, boys. There were a few local residents along Richmond Road yesterday. My son and I, we went to Waller's and had a special treat before we saw Burma go past on the semi. It's so good to know we have got elephants back in SA, or we'll have elephants back, and everyone's happy to see Burma come.
Yeah, what a great day, Stacey. So did you get to see Burma go past yourself?
Yes, I sat at the bus stop in the front of Waller's and saw her on the semi with the crate.
Oh, wow.
You couldn't see her because she was in the crate that had lots of bear holes. But it was still such a special occasion because I remember Samoan World. And to think now we're going to have elephants back. How lucky are we in SA?
Absolutely,
lovely
Stacey.
call.
It's going to be great there at Monardo. Thank you for calling in. Let's go to Craig Moore. Luke, good morning.
Well, you got someone that's happy and someone that's annoyed at it.
Yeah, fire away, Luke.
All right, I'm just going to have a bit of a rant. All these people that lined up, all the rubberneckers over a box on a truck was insane. It caused traffic accidents. I was late, work-wise. I added an extra 45 minutes to my day. All over a box on a truck. You can't see the thing. I don't know what people were thinking. Were they thinking that the elephant was going to be on the back of a tray just parading around, the pageant?
Luke, I don't want to sound rude, mate. You got to lighten up a bit, I think, Luke. You couldn't have timed your call any worse coming on straight after Stacey.
Oh, mate, no. Like I could cut around a crate on the bus, on the back of a truck, and yeah. Look, if people are happy, good on them. But to see a box on the back of a truck and line up for it's ridiculous.
Good on you, Luke.
Thank you, Luke.
Thank you for calling in, mate.
Well, we've got both ends of the human spectrum covered there between Luke and Stacey, haven't we?
No wonder there's no hope for peace in our time when we're talking, international politics, and we can't even get unity over the arrival of an elephant in a box.
Can't we all just get along?
It's the polarisation of the world.
It is. In elephant form. I'm in the Stacey camp. I loved it.
It's probably an opportune time to talk etiquette then, when we talk about people's differing approaches to things. Lucy's in the studio, if you're watching along on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream. Delving into a space we haven't historically with the touch of etiquette before, Lucy, religion.
Yes, we'll get to that in a moment. I'm in Stacey's camp. I watched your news last night, Will, and kid you not, when I saw photos of Burma, I burst into tears.
Really?
I was so happy. I might have just been a little bit overtired yesterday.
I was going to say,
but
is that a natural response?
Luke's calling back in.
So, Luke, you might want to tell me to lighten up a little bit, but I didn't burst into tears at the thought of the box. I cheered and clapped on the couch, and then when I saw the pictures of the actual elephant, I literally started crying.
Well, it's going to be massive.
I'm turning into my mother.
Are you going to go up to Monardo, Les?
I said to anyone who would listen last night on my texting abilities, we're going to Monardo in 30 days.
Yeah.
We're going to Monardo.
It's going to be great, I think, when they're all there as well, which is the middle of next year, I think they all arrive.
Sam and I have December birthdays, so maybe we could do a birthday trip to Monardo, Sam.
There you go.
Nope, he's shaking his head and he's out.
He looks like he's in the Luke camp, Sam Dado. Yeah, I think
Fine, I'll go.
I think he might
I'll
be.
go and cry up at Burma.
He's more excited about the Velo than the elephants.
That's fair enough. Now, a touch of etiquette. Yes, religion. This is for those who sit around the dinner table together, which actually prompts another thought. Do people sit around the dinner table together and eat a meal?
Yeah.
Which I'd be happy to hear from people about, if that's still the norm, or if it's...
No devices either?
Yeah, or if it's fend for yourself when you get home, or you sit on the couch. But I was going to ask, is if you do sit around the table still, do people still say grace?
Yeah. How many families? Because I think it's an interesting question, because I imagine there'd be plenty of people that still do, and it probably follows roughly along census lines with terms of people who identify as being quite religious, people of faith. I wonder if how many families where there's everyone's still together, because that speaks to a slightly younger generation. I'd be fascinated to know whether it's carried down to people who are in their 40s and 50s, for example, as opposed to being the 70s and 80s.
And people as well who maybe aren't especially overly religious, but they just say it as just as something they do at the start of a meal, I wonder. 82230000. But also, let me know your dinner table practices, because maybe you don't all sit around the table. Maybe that isn't the norm anymore. I don't know. I don't have... I live on my own, so I just eat wherever and whenever I want. Still not out of the fry pan, Dave. I have my...
You got to get into it, Lise.
I have my couthness.
How's your beer pyramid coming along?
Not good, but my wine bottle collection's a little bit too high.
Well, maybe that's why you're crying when you see elephants on the news. Gone full Betty Ford at your house.
All right.
So it's a two-part adequate question about the dining table, I think,
the dining
roughly.
table, yeah.
Two-part. You can engage in any part of it. Should dinner always be eaten around the dining table? 1. 2, do you still say grace in your family?
Does grace exist?
So my late grandma Penberthy, she said grace before every meal. She was a devout, lifelong Methodist who went to the Methodist church in just off Finnis Street, beautiful historic church from the early days of the beautiful suburb of Marion. And then a couple of my cousins and my uncle and auntie, they always did it. They may well still do it. Well, we never did it at our house because my parents, Dad in particular, not really that religious at all.
Not a man of faith.
No. Big scientist, my dad, and grew up in a really, really sort of traditional Methodist household. Wasn't Dad's cup of tea, more into the jazz, studying of the science, etc. So went in a different direction. So we had a full secular upbringing. But if people want to say it, good luck to them, I reckon.
Yeah, I think you're either one or the other. You always do, or you never do.
Can you remember being at anyone's house where they did say grace and you sort of felt like you had to go along with it?
Well, my family said grace.
Yeah, right.
When I was at home, I went to boarding school. We had to say grace every night at boarding school. We weren't an overtly religious boarding school, but that was a historical thing.
So is it for what we are about to receive?
For what we're about to receive, may the Lord make us truly grateful or thankful.
Yeah, yeah.
Amen.
How about you, Will? Any grace at your place?
No, Dad was more of your old man's camp. Mum obviously Catholic though, but no, we didn't. No, it wasn't a regular occurrence. The sitting at the dinner table always was though. That was a family rule.
Yeah,
we're getting lots of Dutton's texts on both these issues coming through. Penny says no grace, but we definitely sit up at the table every night. We have a 17 and 18-year-old, so sometimes it can be tricky. But Monday to Thursday, pretty much every night we chat. We find out about the day. We laugh and argue, and most of the times it's the best part of the day. Good on you, Penny. Luke says, I'm in my 30s and my wife, my wife and my 2 kids all sit down and say grace before dinner every night at the dinner table. Thank you. Dan in Woodcrop says, morning team, as a family, we all still say grace with most meals. The kids love it, with a cheeky smiling face, which suggests that maybe they don't love it. Our friends also join in when they come over too. We love having dinner together. Recently, we've been having dinner outside under the pergola. It is perfect. Thank you, Dan. And Mark says, I bet Luke wouldn't say grace.
Yeah.
Luke's in for a rough morning.
The elephant, I don't say the elephant hater, the elephant box hater, because he was really upset that we couldn't see the elephant.
There's a little bit of support for Luke as well. JW on the Duttons text line says, Adelaideans love a fuss about nothing. The opening of a tunnel, an airport, a bridge, and now the arrival of a box.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
All right, let's take some calls. Sandra in Glenside, good morning.
Yes, hi guys. Yes, we do say grace, but only when the whole family get together, like Christmas, Easter, and very special birthdays when all of us are together. We say grace just to give thanks that we are all together and celebrating together.
Yeah, that's a nice,
I think that's
nice
a lovely
occasion
sentiment.
to mark. Yeah. Helen in Glenelg North, good morning.
Oh, good morning, boys. No grace, but always dinner around the table, all of us. Yes, but no grace.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. Have we had any texts about people who are strong advocates for the couch dinner?
We had someone who's a strong advocate for saying lounge and not couch, which is,
Good heavens.
on brand for 5AA breakfast. And the text line.
People are getting angry about all sorts of minutiae today, aren't they?
Yeah, people are
first the box, now the couch.
Well, I think now that the US election's out of the way.
Program again.
Now, lofty things like identity politics are out the way. People are getting back to grammar and English. And,
exactly.
No, but I suspect why. I can know why. I think there's still some sort of... I think whether you eat at the dining table or not, I think most people have this rooted deep down an understanding that the right thing to do is to have dinner at the dinner table. So no one's running around desperately bragging about sitting on the lounge or couch having their dinner.
I've got to say, having 3 sons, the idea of them being allowed to eat anywhere not within the vicinity of the dining table fills me with... The idea of them eating on the lounge, God knows... Given that when they eat, food can end up effectively flying across the room onto the lounge anyway. Stuff being left on the floor, bits of watermelon... Zorro eats watermelon, doesn't he? Why don't you just pick it up off the ground rather than waiting for the dog to eat it? Let's not clean the floor with dog spit. Let's use the chucks. So, yeah, like anything resembling a controlled environment with sons is a good thing.
Yeah, no, makes sense.
Who's texted in capital letters saying leave Luke alone? Is
Yes.
that Luke texting back?
No, I think it's someone else. I think it's that guy that wanted Brittany to be left alone. Now turn his attention to Luke. Look forward to the YouTube video. That was
about to say that under his bed sheets with a torch.
crying. Luce, that was superb.
Like I was at Burma the Elephant last night on the couch.
There we go.
Couch, not lounge. I'm a couch person.
We rounded out where we began it. Magnificent work, Luce. Good
Great
to have
stuff,
you in.
Luce.
All right, let's check traffic. Do you need pragmatic and relevant commercial legal advice? Contact JFL and Smith Lawyers, nationally recognised local specialists.
Thanks, Will, and morning, David. At Hilton, 2-car crash at Donald Rapid Drive near South Road. Works at Hallicove to look out for Lonsdale Road near Perry Bar Road. And got the Adelaide 500 road closures in place. A heavy delays across the east end of the city around Hutt Street, Kettleville Terrace and Kent Town. And also slow the Parade and Green Hill Road. If you have to go that way, best advice is to leave early. Camera this morning, 5S Drive at Pasadena. Truckloads of new stock have just arrived at the Harvey Norman clearance stores, Marion Adjepts Cross. Run out furniture, bedding, outdoor and more, priced to clear. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Whether you're in the market for a small, mid or large Toyota SUV, your journey starts at the new Jarvis Toyota, Brighton Road, Somerton Park. Walk through their brand new state-of-the-art undercover showroom for new and demo vehicles in stock across the range. Yaris Cross, Corolla Cross, RAV4, Kluger and Land Cruiser. Your Toyota SUV journey starts at the new Jarvis Toyota, Brighton Road, Somerton Park. Proudly celebrating 23 years of great deals.
Right Price, Adelaide's best in heating and cooling, has risen to new heights. Literally, Right Price are now your roofing people too. Same exceptional service, value and quality. From total roof replacement, including tiled roof installation, to tile roof repairs, cleaning and painting. And for peace of mind, a rock-solid quote. So the only surprise you'll get is how magnificent your roof and home looks. Do it right. Visit rightpriceroofing.com.au.
You can get your roof right at Right Price.
Polio may be all but eradicated in Australia, but its effects are not completely gone. Symptoms like weakness, joint pain and fatigue may still persist. So if you suffered from polio as a child, you may be experiencing symptoms right now and not even be aware that this is the cause. Polio SA is a support group for post-polio syndrome. There is no cure, but there are recommended management strategies.
So Tuesday next week, that's the 19th of November for one day only, Polio SA are holding a workshop to learn how to get more out of your health professionals, self-management strategies and how to make local connections. Come along for lunch and meet Minister Nat Cook, who will also be there to answer any questions.
Polio SA are committed to making life for polio survivors as comfortable as possible. The workshop is being held at West Adelaide Football Club from 12:30 to 3 p.m, so visit Polio SA and register now.
Feeling stuck? Henry Bloom's Herbalax to the rescue. It relieves constipation and promotes bowel regularity. Feel light, free and ready to go with Henry Bloom's Herbalax 200 grams dried herb or capsules. Always follow the directions for use.
How far would you go for your dream kitchen? And how far would you go to not deal with organising all the trades? How about 15 minutes up the freeway to Balhanna Kitchens by Design? To the largest showroom in the Adelaide Hills. Custom build your dream with our award-winning designers. Plus, we can manage the installation and all sub-trades at a fixed price. Balhanna Kitchens by Design. It's not too far to go to make your dream a reality. balhannakitchens.com.au.
Drive away in the Tucson Hybrid by Hyundai from just $46,990 drive away. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
We have 2 spots available on the short list for our cruise competition. This is amazing. The Silver Sea Luxury Cruising and Phil Hoffman Travel. Creating moments you'll never forget. Visit pht.com.au at 2 points over the course of the morning. One is going to be in the next hour. We're going to sound the boarding sound effect for your Silver Sea Nova cruise. This is their newest luxury ship. This one goes to Singapore. That's where you'll be going. This is $18,000 worth of prize, so well worth your time and effort to get on the short list. We're going to be sounding the boarding call sometime in the 7 o'clock hour for the first time this morning, so make sure you stay listening. There's a bit of rearguard action for Luke on the Duttons text line. Helen just simply says, Luke is a champion. All right, let's head out on the road and check in with another champion, Jade Robran, thanks to Duttons, family owned and operated for 75 years and easy to do business with. Oh, in fact, before we're not going to Jade yet, she's not quite ready. Let's go and do the weather first. Simon Timke at the Weather Bureau is on the line. Morning to you, Simon.
Morning, Will. Morning, David.
So, Simon, it's warming up towards the weekend. What have we got in store for today, though?
Yeah, look, a partly cloudy day on the way, and looking at the satellite picture, there's some breaks in that, so we'll see a bit of sunshine on and off too. And there's a little trough approaching from the southwest, just approaching Kangaroo Island now. It won't bring much to the Adelaide area, but there is a slight chance that we could see a shower sort of late in the morning or into the early part of the afternoon. Probably a little bit more likely around the hills and the southern suburbs than the more northern suburbs. Wouldn't expect too much in the way of totals. If we get sort of up to a millimetre or so, would have done pretty well out of it, I think. The winds today, southwesterly, a little bit fresh at times, and they'll tend to around a little bit more southerly in the evening. And for our temperatures, we had an overnight minimum 15.1 degrees, just before 6 a.m, currently sitting on 15.9 and expecting a maximum of 23 degrees today. 23 again for Thursday and a mostly sunny day with southwest to southeasterly winds. And Friday we'll start to see those temperatures rise a little bit. Mostly sunny day again, the winds turning around a little bit more northerly, bringing some warmer air down from the north. 29 degrees the maximum for Friday. Then hotter on Saturday, expecting 34 degrees, a bit windier from the north, and we'll see a shower or two develop later in the day, sort of late afternoon and evening as the change moves across. But 34 degrees are ahead of that change, so a hot day for Saturday, much cooler on Sunday though, 21 degrees with a chance of a shower.
Good stuff, Simon. Thank you.
All right, let's head to Saypole. Senior Constable Scott James joins us. Scott, awful story yesterday, a fatal crash at Paralawi.
Yeah, this one is a sad one. So just after 2:30 p.m. Yesterday, emergency services were called to Vindana Road at Paralawi after reports that a motorbike had crashed into a tree. Sadly, the rider, a 32-year-old man from Elizabeth East, died at the scene, and Vindana Road was closed to all traffic for a number of hours. But while Major Crash investigated the circumstances, however, this has since reopened. So the man's death is the 77th life loss on South Australian roads this year.
Scott, also, this is completely unacceptable. So 3 teenagers have been arrested after breaking into a house, stealing a car and then crashing it overnight in Elizabeth Downs.
Yes, that's correct. So just after 12 a.m. this morning, police were travelling on Midway Road at Elizabeth Downs and they spotted a car on its side on the western footpath. They approached the car and saw three people running on Midway Road. So Northern District Patrol set up some cordons and shortly after located three youths nearby on Hamblin Road. They were arrested without incident. So the alleged driver is a 14-year-old boy from Oaklands Park with two passengers, which were a 17-year-old from Blakeview and a 14-year-old from Huntfield Heights. So then checks revealed by the patrols revealed that the car had actually been stolen earlier in the night from an Elizabeth North address. So we'll allege that the suspects entered the home while the occupants were asleep and stolen the victim's wallet and car keys, and then stolen the Ford Utility, which was the car that was found crashed. It was stolen from the garage. So there was a considerable amount of damage to the passenger side of the vehicle, and we've towed it for forensic examination. So we've charged the driver, who was the 14-year-old from Oaklands Park, with aggravated serious criminal trespass, theft, illegal use, driving unlicensed, driving without due care, and also leaving the scene of a crash. And the other passengers were charged with aggravated serious criminal trespass and theft, and they'll appear in the Elizabeth Youth Court today.
Unbelievable. Pretty hard to drive licensed if you're only 14 years old as well, isn't it? Extraordinary.
Yeah, you definitely can't do that.
That's right. Good on you, Scott. Thank you. Scott James there from SAPOL.
Thank you, Scott. All right, now we've got Jade Robran out on the road for us. Thanks to our great friends at Dutton's, family owned and operated for 75 years and easy to do business with. Morning, Jade.
Good morning, you're doing indeed. Good morning, everyone. So this morning we're talking funky tap water. Funky as in yucky tasting tap water. 82230000. If you've noticed your tap water has been a bit off lately, can you call us? Can you give us a buzz? Because you won't be alone. SA Water, they've opened up an investigation into several areas in the south, paying particular attention to Brighton. Now, residents are complaining that their water tastes like dirt. Now, mine tastes like swimming pool, but I think chlorinated tasting water in Adelaide seems to be quite normal. But dirt, that can't be blamed on an old tap or pipes. There's a residents group on Facebook which have been flooded with other curious people asking if they're experiencing the same taste. And yes, there is quite a few in the same boat. Now, they've had to go to the expense of buying boxed water from the supermarket because they just simply cannot drink tap water anymore, which I know doesn't cost a lot, but still they shouldn't have to. SA Water spokesperson said that they were aware of the complaints and that they'd begun undertaking sampling, and they've said that water supplied to the customers in the Brighton area remains safe to drink and that recent sampling in the supplying reservoir has not shown any notable source of water issues. They're now undertaking sampling in the local pipe distribution network as they follow up this investigation. But I say call in Erin Brockovich, she'll get it sorted, but we would love to hear from anyone in and around those areas to see if it's spread any further or in fact anywhere around the state. If you've noticed that your water is tasting a little bit funky, it isn't quite right, 82230000, give us a call and we'll try and get to the bottom of this.
Yeah, indeed. It's a great idea, Jade. Do give us a buzz, or if you'd like to chat with Sam or Paddy offline, you can do that as well. Or text us on the Dutton's text line, 044808 1395.
One of the people that the advertiser spoke to was a woman called Ray Dunning, who said she noticed the issue a few days ago, and she said that she uses a SodaStream machine, and they thought that it must have been some sort of problem with the machine, so they went and bought a new gas cylinder, but it still tasted the same. It had this sort of horrible sort of soapy taste. It's quite a weird thing how water can vary so much in flavour from region to region, suburb to suburb, isn't it?
Certainly is. Just looking, there's some news out of Melbourne radio this morning about a big change to the AFL fixture for next year that we're going to shore up and have some more news for you on after 7 o'clock in our wrap of the morning stories. So stick around, because the shape of the footy weekend looks like it's changed forever. That's next.
40 Winks 40 Frenzy is here and the savings are out of control. Score a massive 50% off mattresses and 30% off furniture. End Sunday. Terms, conditions and exclusions apply. 40 Frenzy, serious about savings. 40 Winks, serious about sleep.
If you're packing up your family to travel across the land will treat you different in a Dave Benson caravan.
Summer is on the way and at DBC things are heating up at our $500,000 sale, where parts are halfway mark and the bargains are still rolling in. So don't freeze up now. With a red hot $500,000 in discounts off Australia's largest range of new and used caravans under one roof. Prices reduced on over 100 vans in stock, ready to rock. On now until the end of November, only at Dave Benson Caravans.
Join Holiday Wonders for our annual Christmas celebration tour, leaving Adelaide on December 22nd for the city of Melbourne, the town of Macedon, and the stunning coastline of the Great Ocean Road. This 6-day holiday includes comfortable return travel on the overland train and fantastic sightseeing opportunities. This year, we're excited to see the fabulous Sister Act musical from the best seats in the Regent Theatre. Plus, our special Christmas lunch will be nothing short of scrumptious. Book your Christmas getaway today at holidaywonders.com.au.
Who can fix the shower?
Service today.
Who can fix the power?
Service today.
Yes, we can, is what we say at Service Today.
From emergency plumbing to electrical and heating and cooling, no matter what size job you need, at Service Today the answer will always be yes we can. It's Service Today guaranteed or it's free.
Can you fix the shower? Yes, we can. Can you fix the power? Yes, we can. Yes, we can, is what we say at Service Today.
Look out for our bright yellow trucks.
The news and information that matters. This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Partly cloudy and 23 today with the 7 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Graham Goodings.
Make RAA approved windscreen repairer Complete Windscreens your insurer repairer of choice. Visit completewindscreens.com.au.
A person has died in a house fire at Morford Vale overnight. Rachel Guy says the CFS and MFS were called to the blaze on Woodcroft Drive and the deceased occupant wasn't found until the fire had been extinguished.
One occupant was found deceased inside the property. The house is a total loss with the estimated damage value of approximately $500,000.
The cause of the fire is yet to be established. Another cyclist has died on our roads. A 43-year-old man passed away yesterday after colliding with a van on the Dukes Highway near Keith. The driver of the van, also 43, was not injured in the crash. On Sunday, a male cyclist was killed in a crash at Roland Flat. Flights to and from Bali have been cancelled across the country. A volcanic eruption has been spewing large columns of hot ash into the air, making it unsafe to fly. Jetstar, Qantas and Virgin Airlines are all affected. Travellers have desperately been trying to book a rescheduled flight, but some have been unsuccessful.
When we got here, there was no seats, so we went to a different airline, and yeah, that was going to cost $5,000 there. And then when I come back to the desk, they're like, we've got business class, $350 each. So that'll do.
So they cancelled the flight to Bali. But we lost everything. We lost the hotel, we lost the connect flight.
Labels like toxic addiction and poison in every puff will soon be printed on individual cigarettes. Manufacturers will need to make the change by April next year to meet new guidelines. But industry sources say they're not sure whether manufacturers can make the transition in time. Australians are being encouraged to spread a little extra joy this World Kindness Day. Kath Koshel founded the Kindness Factory, a not-for-profit that creates educational programs in schools and universities to help foster a kinder community. She says a small gesture can go a long way.
Simple things like holding the door for someone or shouting someone a coffee or smiling at someone. It's really just a reminder of the importance of kindness. So we can get caught up in the busyness of life so often and we forget to firstly be kind to ourselves and then to be kind to others in the process.
Today is your last chance to see Wong Wong and Fu Ni at the zoo. The bamboo forest will close at 5 o'clock tonight and preparations will begin for their long journey back home to China. The pandas arrived with much fanfare in 2009. They have drawn large crowds but have been unable to mate successfully. The zoo will take delivery of 2 new pandas in the near future. Meantime, it wasn't quite Beatlemania, but there was some Burma mania on the streets of Adelaide yesterday. The arrival of Burma the elephant at the airport and subsequent operation to get her to Monarto, attracting groups of spectators. Burma was given a police escort through the western suburbs, up Glen Osmond Road and onto the freeway. Seven's Casey Tudor says it was a smooth 73-kilometre journey.
She certainly had vets and keepers on hand to keep an eye on her every move and monitor, no doubt, her vital signs, that if there was any change in behaviour or any signs of distress, they could act accordingly.
Burma will now spend 30 days in quarantine. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Enjoy 10-year warranty and capped price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi Nailsworth and the new Agostino Mitsubishi Mawson Lakes.
Tom Wren, more footy news.
Yeah, absolutely. And those AFL fixture leaks are continuing ahead of the official release tomorrow, Graham. Now, there are reports there'll be 23 Thursday night matches next season, with the time slot to feature in the first 16 weeks of the year and 7 of the 9 final weeks. Essendon, meantime, is set to play Geelong at Cardinia Park for the second time since 1993 outside of COVID seasons. Meantime, Hawthorn has topped the list for most players included in the women's All-Australian squad, with 6 included. The Crows have 5, along with Brisbane and North Melbourne, while Port Adelaide has 3. To cricket, and South Australia's hot start to the season has continued after a 6-wicket bonus point win against New South Wales. All-rounder Liam Scott was awarded man of the match for his 2 wickets and unbeaten 42, while Harry Conway picked up 3 wickets and Alex Carey top scored with 75 off only 63 balls. SA now sits on top of the One Day Cup table and is second on the Shield table. Well, Nick Kyrgios has declared he'll be fit for the Australian Open, having overcome a horror run of injuries. The 29-year-old admits he's fallen back in love with tennis after 2 knee surgeries and a wrist reconstruction. The former world number 13 says it's been a long road to recovery.
I started from hitting fluffy balls that were, under 10s kids, they learn on. So I had to start from there and basically learn how to use my right wrist.
Meantime, Alex de Minaur has gone down in his second group stage match at the ATP Finals event in Turin. De Minaur going down 6-2, 6-4 against Daniil Medvedev. And in some basketball to finish, Josh Giddey's solid forms continued after scoring 18 points, whilst also collecting 8 rebounds and 7 assists. But it wasn't enough as his Chicago Bulls went down to the unbeaten Cleveland Cavaliers, 119 to 113. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate, experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
Morning there at Hilton. 2-car crash on St Donald Bradford Drive near South Road, Blair Athol. Urgent telecommunication works on Grand Junction Road near Florence Avenue. Adelaide 500 road closures are in place, so pretty slow around the east end of the city, including Hutt Street and Kettleville Terrace. And if you've got to go in via the Parade of Green Hill Road, good advice is to leave early. Cover this morning, Grant Scully Road to Chandler's Hill. Gladiator 2 starring Paul Mescal, Pedro Pascal with Connie Nielsen and Denzel Washington is in one word, epic. Gladiator 2 is in cinemas tomorrow. Get tickets now. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA weather.
Stay cool. Service your aircon at Automasters. And keep cool with Cool Now, Pay Later options.
Partly cloudy, 23 today, 23 tomorrow, but mostly sunny. Friday, mostly sunny and 29. Then Saturday, a shower or 2 developing, 34. Currently it's 16. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Setting the agenda for South Australia. This is 5AA, always Adelaide.
Drive away in the Tucson Hybrid by Hyundai from just $46,990 drive away. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
8 minutes after 7, if you like getting free stuff, this morning is for you. We've got 2 spots still available on the shortlist to win the cruise trip of a lifetime, thanks to Phil Hoffman Travel and Silver Sea Luxury Cruising. $18,000 worth of ticket. Wow. We've got to give away. The other thing we've got is a experience of a lifetime at the Velo 500. Now, stay listening. If you're an expert in any, and I'll be cryptic about this, any part of the Velo, there's an opportunity for you to win this morning. If you're an expert about anything that has to do with the Velo weekend...
So this could be the race...
I'm not going to say anything else.
Nothing else?
Not going to say anything else.
Any part of it, though,
well, that's right. We have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and we're going to be giving away that a little bit later this morning. But first, let's jump in. In fact, before we get to the news headlines, I thought this was a nice text that rounded out the first hour of the program. Dave Lloyd, our Alberton correspondent, long-time contributor to the show as well, making some observations, macro observations about the show. He says... Crates, saying grace, and couch v lounge. The cracks are forming in the listenership of the 5AA Breakfast Show. I think he's right. Very much a sign of our times. Thank you for that, Dave.
I like Tom's text. He simply says, Luke for PM.
Yeah, Luke, very upset that people are excited about the crate on the truck containing the elephant yesterday. And people's varying levels of excitement about it. Happy to take your thoughts, folks. 8223 You might start out as a pariah and become a legend like Luke did in the space of 15 minutes. News that leads us off this 7 o'clock hour. You just heard Tom Wren and 5AA from the 5AA newsroom with sport. Some news out of Victoria this morning about the AFL fixture. Perhaps not a surprise, but it's interesting to see it confirmed. Sam Edmund from in Melbourne Radio reporting this morning. There will be 23 Thursday night games locked in for the home and away season next year.
So every week?
It will be every week except for 2. Because, of course, we've got Gather Round and we've got Opening Round.
Well, Gather Round has a Thursday night game.
Gather Round does have a Thursday night, but I'm just saying in terms of, there's more weeks than you suspect in the year. Each 16 weeks of the year and 7 of the 9 last weeks of the floating portion of the fixture, which everyone loves, the floating fixture. 23 Thursday night games. What do you think, folks? 8223 You can text us on the Duttons text line. Your instant reaction. What the AFL are saying in this fixture leak is that Thursday night footy is now part of the weekend. It's not a gimmick. It's not unique. It doesn't add spice to things like Gather Round. It is actually just part of the AFL weekly routine and weekend of fixtures now. It starts on a Thursday night. What do you think?
Overwhelmingly, I think people are going to think it's a great idea. It's a great idea if you're not going to the game. If you're going to the game, then it becomes more of a debate, and we hear frequently from country listeners saying they don't like it if the Crows or Port are playing on a Thursday because they can't get down to town. Then they've got to, get back to Pirie or wherever it is they're going the next day back home. But if you're just on the couch watching, I reckon it's sensational. I think, and last year when they did this year, because it is still this year, it's still 2024, we had the whole first half of the season with Thursday night football, and then it stopped.
Yeah. It became part of the week, didn't it?
Yeah.
I love it. It's less popular amongst families with young kids who like footy and can watch Friday night games because they can go to bed a little bit later, but...
Well, you still get a Friday night game. It's not
That's right.
to the exclusion of Friday night football.
I guess it just leads to a few family fights. But you tell us, folks. You be the jury on this. Thursday night footy, do we like it or not? 8223 text us on the Duttons text line. Duttons car dealerships in the Adelaide Hills and Murray Bridge. They are easy to do business with. What do we think of this concept? Individual cigarettes must have health warnings printed on the butt by April next year to be sold in Australia. So, just to step you through this, this is from the Tysers reporting this morning. The new guidelines require different warnings to be circulated across cigarettes, including toxic addiction, poison in every puff, causes 16 cancers, and damages your lungs. There'll be a 3-month transition period from April 1 where shops can sell existing stock of cigarettes without the warnings to customers, but cannot purchase any new cigarettes without warning from manufacturers. Now,
it's got to be written on the butt.
It's got to be written on the butt. Now, there's 2 issues here. One of them is this isn't done anywhere. So cigarette manufacturers are going to have to buy new machinery to print it on the butt. They don't have an army of people handwriting warnings on butts of cigarettes. So
what's the ink going to be made out of? It might be toxic.
Well,
that was a joke.
There's a real compliance issue about is this even possible. The second question I think is a good one that was raised by Matt Canavan, the National Senator. He asked the Health Department Secretary, Dr. Liz Devlin, in Senate estimates last week, had the government analysed what the impact would, the department analysed what the impact of this policy would be on illicit tobacco? Because presumably it makes, the argument being it would make cigarettes more expensive again, because there's another, if you're investing in new machinery and the processes and so forth, it makes them even more expensive. And if there is a correlation between the value of a cigarette and the likelihood that someone's going to go and buy it illegally, surely it'll have a flow-on effect. And well, the health department says, we're the health department. That's not within our purview. We don't model that kind of thing, which I would have thought may technically be the case, but the government of the day should be interested in that sort of thing. And I don't understand, personally, if you're not dissuaded by the graphic images on the packet on the outside, are you going to make it to the cigarette on the in and go, well, that dead person on a desk on the outside of the packet didn't sway me, but when I saw damages your lungs on the butt of the cigarette, I just thought this was not for me.
Yeah, that was the real clincher.
This is ridiculous.
We've had olive green packaging since Nicola Roxon was the health minister. We've got the poor bugger with lung cancer, keeling over on the front. And if you look in other countries, like in Singapore and that, there's pictures of, people have actually died, stillborn children, really horrible things, dead rats on the packs as well, saying that tobacco is toxic. So, yeah, if that's not going to stop you, then nothing is. There was a really interesting report yesterday. I thought this was totally up your alley, Will. This was a KPMG report looking at inflation, the top 25 biggest increases from CPI since 2021. But it actually went all the way back to 1984. Now, the biggest increase of anything in Australia since 1984 is tobacco. It's gone up 4,200%.
Yeah, that's
10 times
more. That's not in the target band.
No, that's 10 times more than inflation for alcohol in that same period of time. That's even with the twice yearly mandated CPI increase that booze gets. But this is interesting. This is what KPMG's chief economist Brendan Rinn said. There's a question of whether the tax has now gone too far to the point that it's now encouraging black market activity, and it's now cultivated an illegal tobacco trade, and that's causing turf wars as a consequence. So what will happen is if they go this next step and put their little stamp, you're about to die if you smoke this thing on the filter, like, it's another thing that will encourage people to look around and see if they've got a local gift shop around the corner where you can get a $20 pack that doesn't have the dead person on the label. So it's just a further driver of which means the only thing that can stop illegal tobacco, because there is an unquenchable thirst for illegal tobacco in such a high taxing environment, are the police.
We are doomed to repeat history, aren't we? Prohibition didn't remove the consumption of alcohol, it just empowered the mob. Like, we keep doing these things and not learning from our mistakes. Just seems to be craziness. Speaking of craziness, is there a danger that the ramping crisis is going to be fixed?
3 in a row.
Here's the Premier.
While there is still a long, long way to go and we are not claiming victory, of course it is pleasing to see some positive results.
So here's what he's talking about. Ramping's dipped under 3,000 hours in October. It's 2,000... what is it at? 2,983 hours of people that are in the back of ambulances. 3,106 in September, 5,284 in August. So that's a trend. 3 months in a row, we've had a fewer ramping hours. Have a listen to Chris Picton.
I'm not sure if they're finalised yet or not, but my advice is that we'll be able to release them in coming days.
Yeah, the more ramping data to come, so we'll get a better picture. The opposition make this point, though, that even the success of getting ramping below 3,000 hours, it's still higher than it was in March 2022 when the election was held, which was 2,711 hours. Here's Vincent Tarzia.
Activity is one thing, but what the people of South Australia want is outcomes. They would say that they would fix the ramping crisis. Well, unfortunately, under their time in government, it has never been worse.
So technically they're both right. It is worse now than it ever was under Stephen Marshall, but we're seeing a trend, the kind of trend you might imagine you'll see before it gets back to a sustainable level, or it is, by someone's definition, fixed. And I think we're going to fast approach a time when we're going to... What does fixed look like? How many hours of ramping is fixed?
Well, to be clear, the promise is a very big promise still, because the promise was to get it back to the same level that it was when Stephen Marshall came to office. So it's the start of 2018, not the end of 2022.
So it's still a long ways to go.
Pre-Liberal levels is what their promise is. And, it's almost statistically, why were they so crazy brave with making that promise? Given that to get it back to the 2018 level by 2026, that's an 8-year time lag. The population has grown considerably.
An 8-year time lag that includes a period of immigration greater than any since the Second World War.
What the hell are they thinking? It's amazing what people will say if they want to win the election.
That's right. As oppositions are often known to say, off the record, we'll fix it. We'll sort it out in government.
Yeah, that's right.
Doug in Woodcroft has called into the program, 8223 0000. Morning to you, Doug.
Hello, mate. How you going?
Good,
how you going, guys?
Good, Doug.
So what I'm hearing, this is coming from a very good source, the power prices will be going up in April, May, and this is the reason that Albo wants to have an election in March. He knows that will be the death of Labor if that happens, with the cost of living.
Power prices going up in April, May. Well, that'd
Yep.
continue the trend, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would, mate. Blackout bowling all the way.
Yeah. I think,
Thanks,
I
Doug.
think there's definitely something in that. I think they have for a long time thought the salvation of the Albanese government and the victory they can claim will be a reduction in interest rates, which they can say, well, it points to our good economic management. We've managed to navigate a period of hyperinflation without massive job losses, and interest rates are on the way down. Big tick for our...
They got all their chips on that one, haven't they?
I think they're now all in on that. That's not just it'd be nice. That's the whole box and dice.
That's
I
their
think.
strategy.
That's the strategy. I hope they're mates with the RBA board.
Well, I don't think they are.
I don't think they are either.
I think the RBA board feel like they're doing all the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
With one arm tied behind their back.
That's the timing of that is going to be
The problem
monumental.
too is that the whole
next
cost
year.
of living discussion invites some sort of, okay, we've got the campaign coming up. And we saw it the other day when the PM was in town. He announced, full free TAFE places. Also, the announcement that same weekend about the reduced repayments of HECS for graduates. All of those things cost money. And all of those things, in the eyes of the RBA, mean that people who would otherwise be thinking, I've got to pay for my degree or got to pay for my TAFE stuff so I can get an apprenticeship, they might go and spend their money elsewhere. That's the kind of stuff that Michelle Bullock's on the record going, well, this is all government spending that's inflationary.
Exactly.
So the tension will be, we need, as a government, to look like we're acting on the cost of living, but everything they do to address that, the RBA is watching like a hawk. So the thing that they might do to win the election might prevent the RBA from cutting rates.
They're walking a tightrope, that's for sure. It's 21 minutes after 7. Lots of Dutton's texts on everything from ramping, cigarettes to Thursday night footy. We're going to get to all your feedback.
Dodgy water.
Water. In just a moment, we'll get to those. You can call us 2822 3000. But first, I'm going to check traffic. Do you need pragmatic and relevant commercial legal advice? Contact JFL and Smith Lawyers, nationally recognised local specialists.
Thanks, Will. At Blair Athol, urgent telecommunication works, Green Junction Road near Florence Avenue. Bit sluggish at the moment at Hallett Cove for work, St Solonzar Road near Perry Bar Road, and got the Adelaide 500 road closures in place, slow around the east end of the city. And if you've got to use the Parade of Green Hill Road to get to work, best advice is to leave early. Cameras this morning, Main Road, Blackwood and Oak Ridge Road at Aberfoyle Park. Drop everything and save up to 60% off furniture with Amart's Black Friday sale. Save on a huge range of lounges, dining, bedroom furniture and more, so hurry into Amart. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Good afternoon, passengers. Please have your boarding pass and identification ready.
5AA Mornings with Matthew Pantelis.
The misinformation bill currently making its way through the Parliament. The government keen to get this in. Let's find out what it does. Professor Anne Twomey, constitutional law expert.
Well, my concern is how they actually define what's misinformation. Where the problems arise is where it extends into things that are contestable.
Matthew Pantelis.
That is censorship.
It's a mess, no doubt about it.
Weekday mornings from 9 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Hi, Daniel Talia here, General Manager of Home. That's HAUME. If you're thinking about selling your home and it's in our price range, we'll buy it. Forget spending thousands getting your home ready for sale. We'll offer you market value right now. And the settlement can be up to 12 months if you like, which gives you loads of flexibility. That's how easy it is. To get in touch with us today, visit home.com.au and remember HAUME.com.au. At Home, we buy homes.
Companies and small business that use one solution for their IT management, cybersecurity and AI implementation are always ahead of the curve and ready for anything. One Solution is local too, a full-service technology company right here in Adelaide, offering a diverse range of solutions across IT, telecommunications, phone and mobile systems, cybersecurity and AI. Today, more than ever, it's important to safeguard your business. Do it with One Solution. onesolution.net.au, a Platinum Telstra partner.
The FIVEAA Adelaide 500 is back from the 14th to the 17th of November this weekend. 4 days of adrenaline-charged action in the heart of the city and more than 70 food and beverage bars.
How good is this? Catch up with mates, soak up the vibes, hit the garden bar. Plus, even if you're not into the racing, you got to go for the concert. 2 big nights of concerts with Aussie icons like Crowded House and Chesil Sunday night. It doesn't get any bigger than that.
This is the final round of the Supercars Championships, making these 4 days an end-of-year party that will kick off the festive season. The FIVEAA Adelaide 500 Tickets from $39 plus transaction fee at Ticketmaster.
Steinborner Hyundai has always been well worth the trip. And now there's another great reason to visit. Hyundai's full range of hybrids. Steinborner Hyundai has a hybrid to suit every driver. From the hybrid i30, the Kona, the Tucson, as well as the all-new Santa Fe hybrid family-sized SUV. Experience the difference at Steinborner Barossa and Clare with outstanding service and a great range of vehicles. And you'll see why. Steinborner Hyundai is well worth the trip. Steinborner.com.au.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Drive away in the Tucson Hybrid by Hyundai from just $46,990 drive away. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
25 minutes after 7, huge amount of feedback to our 7 o'clock news wrap this morning, including this from Jill on the Duttons text line, who says, I need Luke to come on and say how much he hates Thursday night football. Thank you, Jill. Luke, the patron saint of the haters this morning. Look, good on him.
We need to keep Luke's number on speed dial.
Yeah, Luke needs to call in more often.
The people of SA just want to vent about something. Luke's the man.
Luke can call in and say, here's the uncomfortable truth that no one else is gutsy enough to say.
Yeah, I hate it.
People want him to. They've sent out the Luke signal. It's like Batman. He will appear in the sky. Lots of Dutton's texts. We'll get to those in a moment. First, though, Jason in Salisbury Heights was the first person to call through, having correctly identified the boarding call this morning. Jason, good morning to you.
Morning, guys. How you going?
Good, thanks, Jason.
You're in the running to win $18,000 worth of cruise. Have you've been on cruises before, Jason, or would this be your first time?
It'd be my very first time. Yeah, I've been overseas quite a bit, but never on a cruise ship.
Yeah, I reckon you're the first of our callers, Jason, who's never been on a cruise. Will and I've never been on a cruise. It sounds good, though. It sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh, it'd be amazing.
Yeah, no. Have you got a go-to destination? Where would you like to end up?
Oh, I'd be happy to go anywhere. It'd be just nice to have a break.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, good luck, mate. You're in the running for it. So all the very best of luck, Jason.
Great. Thank you very much, guys. Have a good morning.
We're going to sound in the boarding call one more time this morning, which means someone else will go on the shortlist, potentially win themselves $18,000 worth of cruise. All right, let's wade through some of the feedback, because a lot of it's really good and a lot of it's really strong on a range of different subject matters.
I'll start with the water ones. There's a few here on them. Ray says tap water at Harrow Road, Somerton Park's been terrible for the past week or so. We thought it was due to SA Water Roadworks nearby, but maybe not given the problems at Brighton. Then one here, Re-Water. We live around Port Adelaide and have noticed a different smell with the fresh water. Maybe we need to do the old hey, it's Saturday royal flush, and everybody on a Saturday night flush the toilets at 8 p.m. to clear out the system. Never heard of that, but, might work. And then Dave says, with regards to our drinking water, take a drive up to Gumaraka and have a look at the deep olive green water being pumped from the River Murray into chain of ponds in the Kangaroo Creek Reservoir. Thank you for that, David.
A few people on the ambulance ramping saying pump the brakes, like Gavin. Regarding hospital ramping, we're also seeing a trend out of winter, so maybe to that's doing a fair bit of the heavy lifting when it comes to the issue with regard to a trend downward in ramping hours, total ramping hours. Jill says, hate Thursday night footy. This year my family and I are boycotting all Thursday night games. We have 5 seats in the front row. They will stay empty. We hate Thursday night games. Crows supporter Jill. Guy says, regarding warnings on cigarette butts, anything that can dissuade young potential smokers from taking it up, that is, the habit should be encouraged. The toxic product would never be approved for human consumption if it was a new drug. Make every smoker look at that warning with every puff. Thank you, Guy. Kaz says, greeting, folks. Regarding cigarette butt printing, my question is, how big is the font? There'll be lots of cross-eyed puffers. Thank you, Kaz. A few people have said that these days. I won't even be able to read whatever they've got printed
2
on
point.
there. Nathan says, regarding ramping, they're politicians. They made a promise that they knew they wouldn't be able to keep. Not much of a shock, really. It'd be nice if some things remained off limits in terms of political exploitation, though. Someone here makes the observation, in fact, that it's been spoken about a bit, the private beds that are being used. My friend went to the Calvary ED, as was informed that the government is paying for beds in a private hospital to reduce ramping, and was told there are limited beds in a private hospital due to this. He was paying extra for private admission, yet public patients were in there filling the hospital.
It's kind of ironic, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you pay your Medicare levy so that you've got access to the public hospital system, but you've also got private health insurance, and when you rock up at the private hospital, you're told, well, things are pretty tight because we've got all the public patients. So, well, I've paid twice for this. Can't I get something?
Yeah, that's right. Nathan also says, maybe next time Ali comes on, you could ask him if ramping was a core or non-core promise. Thank you for that, Nathan. FIVEAA News.
That was a John Howard invention, wasn't it? Core or non-core? He said he'd honoured his core promises.
5AA News is coming up. Stick around. On the other side of the break, Sean Fuster's going to join us for Round the Courts, and he's going to do something that Sean does better than I think anyone in the country. Take you inside the courtroom. A high-profile case this Friday. David Spears will be in court out of the black by-election. But what's going to happen? Will anything newsworthy? Will he be there? What do the charges mean? Will we hear a plea entered? What will we learn? What are the variables? Sean will take us inside the courtroom, and you'll learn the answers to those questions right after the break.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Partly cloudy and 23 today. With the 7:30 news, I'm Graham Goodings.
Chipped windscreen? RAA approved repairer Complete Windscreens repairs it from just $99. Find the big red koala.
A tragic day on South Australian roads yesterday with 2 fatal accidents. A 43-year-old man who was cycling along the Dukes Highway at Bimbago in the southeast collided with a van. The cyclist died at the scene while the van driver wasn't injured. Senior Constable Scott James telling David at Will the second accident was yesterday afternoon around 2:30.
Emergency services were called to Vindana Road at Paralawi after reports that a motorbike had crashed into a tree. Sadly, the rider, a 32-year-old man from Elizabeth East, died at the scene. The man's death is the 77th life loss on South Australian roads this year.
Defence Minister Richard Marles is in town today to sign a key construction contract ahead of Australia's $368 billion nuclear submarine project. It comes despite uncertainty over the AUKUS Pact's future following the election of Donald Trump. The contract signing will see preparatory work at the Osborne Naval Shipyard, the recruitment of workers and setting foundations for the project. Richard Marles says the agreement is another major milestone towards the construction of nuclear-powered submarines in Adelaide. Pressure is mounting on Kevin Rudd to follow the footsteps of the UK ambassador and resign over his criticism of Donald Trump. Video from 2021 has re-emerged of Australia's current ambassador to the US, labelling the president-elect a village idiot. National Senator Matt Canavan has told Today Mr Rudd's time is ticking.
I don't want to see our Australian ambassador change just because of a US election. I've held my breath trying to give Kevin time to make this work. I think each of these sort of drip-fed revelations of what Kevin had said in the past show how unwise it was for Anthony Albanese to choose him in the first place.
Multiple flights to and from Bali are cancelled. A volcano has erupted in Indonesia, spewing molten ash 5 kilometres into the air. Jetstar, Qantas and Virgin passengers are all being affected. Individual cigarettes will have health warnings printed on their butts under new regulations which kick in next year. Gabriel Hodson reports.
Light up a cigarette in April and you'll be puffing on a small printed message about what they do to your health. They'll range from poison in every puff to causes 16 cancers. But News Corp says the industry fears they won't be able to sort out the right printing and other equipment in time, meaning cigarettes without the warnings can't be sold. A 3-month transition period starts April 1st as retailers get rid of existing stock, but stores won't be able to buy new supplies without the printed warnings. In a worst-case scenario, Australia could see a period where not one single legally compliant cigarette is available, pushing more smokers towards illegal tobacco.
Burma the elephant has spent her first night at Monarto. She was given a rock-star welcome yesterday after touching down at Adelaide Airport mid-afternoon. A police escort from the metro area to the safari park running smoothly with no major traffic hassles despite being peak hour. Seven's Casey Treloar says now she has to acclimatise to her new surroundings.
This quarantine will be dependent on her, or dependent on, how well she takes to the environment. No doubt there will be challenges. She's gone from a pretty lush and green enclosure over there in Auckland to essentially the dirt and desert safari-like conditions out at Monarto.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Enjoy 10-year warranty and capped price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi Nailsworth and the new Agostino Mitsubishi Mawson Lakes.
Good morning, Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Graham. Thursday night football will dominate tomorrow's AFL fixture release with 23 games in the time slot reportedly from next year. Well, Cricket Australia is continuing to defend the decision to select a weakened side for the deciding one-day match against Pakistan. Several stars were rested and also aren't available for the 3-game 2020 series. Former Aussie captain Mark Taylor telling Wide World of Sports the focus is on the tests against India.
The problem Australia have got is that they've got these 5 test matches coming up against India, and they're all pretty close together. And they're putting a lot of eggs into that basket. They want to win all these test matches, or certainly win the series at worst, because India have beaten us here the last 2 times.
Meantime, South Australia has registered a 6-wicket win against New South Wales in their one-day cup clash at Adelaide Oval and have picked up a bonus point in the process. The result means SA's now top of the table, but they have played a game more than most of the competition. To tennis, Australia's Alex de Minaur won't be able to make the semi-finals of the lucrative season-ending tournament in Turin after going down in straight sets to 4th seed Daniil Medvedev. De Minaur beaten 6-2, 6-4 by the former world number 1.
Well, that was magical, Medvedev. At times today, he's got his first win on the board this week.
Meantime, Yannick Sinner has won the first set in his match against American Taylor Fritz 6-4. And in some soccer news, Macarthur FC assistant coach Christoph Gammel has received a 6-match ban for shoving Newcastle goalkeeper Ryan Scott. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate, experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
At Blair Athol, look out for urgent telecommunication works today. That's on Grand Junction Road near Florence Avenue. Adelaide 500 road closures in place over the east end of the city, really slow with road closures. And if you've got to use the Parade of Green Road, best advice is to leave early. Look out for works at Tea Tree Gully, North East Road near Walter Street. Camera this morning, Chandler's Road, Happy Valley. Alinta Energy blends renewables with coal and gas to make your energy more affordable. That's true power. Visit alintaenergy.com.au for more info. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Another 5AA forecast.
Stay cool. Service your aircon at Automasters. And keep cool with Cool Now, Pay Later options.
Partly cloudy, 23 today. Tomorrow also 23, but mostly sunny. Friday mostly sunny and 29. Then Saturday, a shower or two developing, 34. Right now it's 17. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Mate, it was so easy. Drop the car into Automasters. Next thing, I get a video on my phone.
AutoCam. It's new from Automasters.
The service advisor is there live doing a real-time report on my car.
Real-time video sent direct to you from your Automasters technician.
He shows me the problem, makes a recommendation, and look, there's the quote.
So good. Totally transparent, instant SMS approval, and Automasters Pay Later options.
AutoCam. The future of vehicle servicing here now. Call 1300 Automasters.
Are you sitting down? Good, because what you're about to hear is unprecedented, unbeatable, unparalleled. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen is giving you 3 days, just 3 days to walk in and drive out in your dream Mawson Lakes Volkswagen. All makes, all models, all colours, all ready to drive away. This Thursday, Friday and Saturday only. Do not miss this. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen's unprecedented 3-day sale. Thursday to Saturday, Salisbury Highway, just a short drive from the city.
Now, Samtas Seafoods this holiday season bring the best of SA's premium catch straight to you. Unbeatable factory direct prices on top quality prawns and more. How's this? You can get them now, beat the Christmas rush, starting with large cooked South Aussie king prawns, chuck them in the freezer, just $21.99 a kilo, or save even more, 3 kilos for only $59.70.
Now, you're hosting a crowd? Well, freshly cooked crayfish from just $87.80 a kilo, large tenderised octopus and Aussie medium raw prawn meat, both $39.99 a kilo, and for a serious deal, go raw with double extra large king prawns at just $39.99 per kilo, or stock up with 3 kilos for only $100.
Mix and match any 4 1 kilo bags for just $60, like Tassie Atlantic salmon, barramundi fillet, salt and pepper squid, crumb prawn cutlets.
Don't miss out on manager's specials for your holiday spread, scallops, freshly cooked lobster, crab meat and more.
Samtas Seafoods, 201 Richmond Road, Richmond, open 7 days with the best seafood deals this season. But don't wait, the pre-Christmas catalogue prawn specials and these 4 for $60 freezer deals are while stocks last.
This'll have you singing in the shower. EcoVantage can help you install an energy-efficient heat pump for all your hot water and save you thousands. EcoVantage should be your first call for government incentives. They can tell you what you're entitled to and how much you can expect to save on an energy-efficient heat pump. Pump your power bills down with EcoVantage. Head to ecovantage.com.au to find out how you could take advantage of government incentives today.
Summer's on the way. Beat the rush and organise your Woolco pool blanket now.
Keep your pool clean, warm and reduce evaporation. Uncover the savings with a Walco pool blanket. Visit walco.com.au.
I booked the car into Automasters. Next thing, there's a video on my phone.
Shows me the problem, makes a recommendation, and look, there's the quote.
So good. Totally transparent, instant SMS approval, and Automasters pay later options.
AutoCam, new from Automasters.
Drive away in the Tucson Hybrid by Hyundai from just $46,990 drive away. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
Time to go around the courts with Sean Fuster on 5AA Breakfast.
20 minutes to 8. Yes, it is that time of the week. Sean Fuster joins us in the 5AA Breakfast studio. You can watch along on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream. This is going to be fascinating, this one, because it sets the agenda for the week ahead. David Speers in court the day before the Black by-election. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of that, though, Sean, congratulations to you and your colleagues Gemma Jones and Catherine Birmingham, because you scooped the awards at the SA Press Club Awards Friday night. Print Article of the Year, Scoop of the Year, the overall Gold Award as well. You published the story and video that appeared to show David Speers consuming a white powder. He said, of course, it was a deep fake. You got forensic analysis that said it was authentic. It was an incredible story. And since then, he's been charged, which brings us to this point in history, and good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you very much. Yeah, all three of us were absolutely delighted and thrilled to be recognised that way and honoured that way. It was an excellent night, and congratulations to everyone else who was a nominee as well. There were some truly amazing articles and stories and documentary pictures and things that won on the night.
Well, you know a story's big when the moment it gets put up online, your phone just goes bing, 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 and you're getting texts from all sorts of people going, have you seen this?
Yeah.
It was a, have you seen this story? And it's had huge political repercussions, resulting in not just a by-election this Saturday, but an exquisitely poorly timed trial starting the day before.
Well, it's not even a trial. That's the thing. If it was an exquisitely poorly timed trial beforehand, it would perhaps be even worse in an optics sense, but it's just the first appearance. And I think this is what we need to sort of tease out and pull apart. So when you're charged with an offence, there's two things that can happen to you, and I'm sorry, just lawful listeners, you're going to be hearing things that you already know, so I'm going to be telling you how to suck eggs for a couple of minutes here. You can either be granted police bail to appear on a date to be set, or you can be remanded in custody until you face a magistrate to determine whether or not you get bail. Now, if you're remanded in custody, you face court the very next day after you've been arrested. If you're given police bail and remanded to a different date or reported to a different date, that's exactly what happens. And in the case of Mr. Speers, that's what's happened. He was, now let me check my notes here, he was arrested at Berry on September 26, 2024, and charged with 2 counts of supplying a controlled substance. First count between August 2nd and 3rd, and the second count on August 9th. So they're close in time, but one's a date range and one's a specific date. He was given police bail to report to the Christie's Beach Magistrates Court this coming Friday. So when he faces court on Friday, that will be the very first time he's ever faced court. And what will happen is a timeline and a calendar, effectively, will be set for the progression of the case. Because the charge of supplying a controlled substance is what's called a major indictable charge. It has to go to trial in the district court. That's where this will end up.
So it can't be in the magistrate's court?
That charge does not finish in the magistrate's court. So in the ordinary course, what would happen is on Friday, a date will be set for a charge determination hearing. That's when the prosecution gets a second moment to say, we've gathered all the evidence, we've assessed all the evidence, we've sent it to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, they've reviewed the file, they agree with us, the charge is going to go ahead as planned, or, now I'm going to take it out of the Speers realm for a minute, talk about any case, we're going to upgrade it because we found this, or we're going to downgrade it because we found that. It will then be set another date for answer the charge, where a plea will be entered to each charge of guilty or not guilty, and then depending on that charge, it will go to the district court for either a trial if it's not guilty pleas, or for sentencing submissions if it's guilty pleas.
Does he have to physically appear on Friday, Sean?
That's an excellent question that Will asked me off air. The standard answer is yes, because you've been given bail to appear in court that day, and you've been given police bail. If you've been given police bail, that police bail ceases to activate on the day of your court appearance, which means the court has to set new bail conditions. So if Mr. Speers is on police bail, and we've been unable to confirm one way or another whether he is, because the police don't have to tell us, If he's on police bail, he must answer that bail, he must physically turn up in court on Friday and be given a new bail agreement. If he's not on bail, in the ordinary course, again, because it's a major indictable matter, you have to front up. However, there's lots of times that defence counsel will say, my client's not here, we ask that their attendance be excused, and we kick on and start setting the timetable.
Do magistrates generally look favourably or dimly upon that kind of conduct?
Magistrates aren't a monolith. There are some magistrates who will say, so long as the prosecution agrees that they can be excused, I'll allow it. There are some magistrates that will take the middle road and say, I'm going to issue what's called a bench warrant, which is an arrest warrant that doesn't activate unless they fail to turn up on the next occasion.
Magistrates can fire up about it. I can remember there was a former radio presenter who got himself into a bit of strife for drink driving, who didn't show up and got a very stern lecture in absentia from the magistrate.
And then there are those who will actually go even one step further than that and say, that's fine, I can wait, get them here. And I've seen that happen, and it will be a case of call your client, I'm holding it in the list, we're not going anywhere until your client physically turns up. And in the case you just mentioned, that person made their way all the way to the magistrate's court. I remember standing at the front of the court and waiting for them because it was a case of, no, your client will be here and I will wait.
Can we go back to the charges? You said it's a major indictable offence. So what technically, what's the law? What's the charge?
So everyone has been talking about this partially because of who's been accused, but also because of the charge. Supply. Very serious charge. Not the most serious charge. But the way supply works is interesting. If you have under a certain amount of a controlled substance, weight-wise, it's deemed to be for personal use. Still an offence, but the penalties are within a particular range because it's for personal use. If you have more than that amount, but under another amount, and it's different for every type of drug, then you are deemed to have supplied it. It doesn't mean that necessarily the police are saying at that moment, I have physically given you drugs, Will. It's just that I have too much for my own personal use.
Yeah, no one would have that much.
You know when the teacher used to say, do you have enough to share with the rest of the class? That amount.
Yes.
If you have more than enough to share with your mates, and a heck of a lot, or you have what they call the indicia of drug dealing, which are tick lists, multiple mobile phones, electric scales, money bags, heat sealing bags, things like that, then you are deemed to be trafficking, which is the top of the tree. So the argument right now is that the amount of whatever substance it is, because we still don't know that either, whatever substance it is Mr. Spears is alleged to have had in his possession is too much for personal use. But what the prosecution has to prove the charge of supply is not only that possession was had, but there was an intent to supply or administer the drug.
But it's not drug dealing, though, is it?
No, because supply can also catch just handing it out to your mates.
Yeah. Because he might have just got it and had enough for friends.
If you've got enough to share, and now what's the wording? Providing, distributing, or offering to provide or distribute, including friends on a casual social basis. That's how the legislation defines it. So if you think about buying a slab of beer and you have your mates over to share the slab, now change the slab of beer to something illicit, and it's the same thing.
So, okay, using that example, and under the law, if that party's raided and everyone's arrested, the person who bought the slab's in more trouble than the people who just used?
Absolutely, because the people who use would be up for using.
Yes.
But the other person would be up for, at the very least, possession, if not, in this case, supply.
Do you know offhand what's he looking at, sentence-wise?
Yeah, it's a maximum $50,000 fine and a 10-year prison term per charge. Now, nobody, of course, as we've talked about,
no one gets
the maximum, and we know that, and all sorts of things would come into play. But, of course, there are defences to the charge as well. And the defences to the charge include, I didn't have possession, the old I was holding it for someone else, lack of intent, I didn't mean to give it to other people, mental impairment, says for itself, and a factual dispute. Yeah, you say that this is enough to supply, but there are reasons why it isn't, or so on and so forth.
Just been to a really bad question time isn't a defence?
Wow.
Doesn't sound like it's specifically mentioned in the legislation. You could argue that it's, inferred. Okay. So that's...
There's a lot of information there, and basically what I'm trying to say is, right now, there are so many variables, and this is a typical day in the life of Sean Fuster. There are so many variables before you walk into that courtroom that you simply don't know what's going to come out. This is why when a chief of staff or a news director says to me, what's going to happen today, I get a little wry smile on my face, because anything could happen. Anything within that massive remit that we've just talked about could go on Friday. The only thing that we No, I can't even say that. I was going to say the only thing that we know. Again, let's take it out of David Spears for a moment. There is the potential on any charge that anybody's ever charged with ever to walk in on the very first day and plead guilty. That exists. No, you don't have to wait to the charge determination date. You don't have to wait to the answer charge date. The sooner you plead guilty to any offence, and again I stress I'm not speaking about Mr. Spears' case here, the sooner you plead guilty to any offence, the bigger sentencing discount you attract. So there's even that option on the deck for Friday.
This is the thing tactically, to your very point there, Sean. What I think is going to be one of the most fascinating, or the most fascinating part of this case, is that there are so many emphatic denials by Mr. Spears on the public record. You know, he stood outside his house talking to one of your colleagues from the Advertiser saying, no, never.
I was the one holding the camera.
Yeah, not me. I've never, never in my life. I have never taken drugs. I have never taken drugs. The whole thing's a deep fake. Does that box him into a not guilty plea?
I don't think so, because what you say to two journalists out the front of your home at the wee hours of the morning is completely different to what you instruct your lawyers to say and what you have to say to a court. Because in a court, you're bound by your oath. You know, the whole the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. You don't have to give that oath, unfortunately, to journalists.
Yeah,
so I don't
enough.
know necessarily. No, and I don't think that. Well, look,
saying something in the heat of the moment when you're under huge pressure.
It would be a big thing for any magistrate to say, "I'm going to take notice of what was said in the public arena over and above, or considers." The only time I've seen that was with the Macca's spitter, Mia Miller, where she went on television and gave that quote unquote apology, and then came to court, and the magistrate said, "Well, I want to see that apology because you're telling me that that's a sign of her remorse."
She in fact introduced
it into the evidence. But if it's not introduced into the evidence, it would be a very brave magistrate that decided, I'm going to take that video as evidence.
Just finally from me, in a compassionate sense, the fact that he's done two things: A, lost his job, and B, publicly confirmed that he has been under so much pressure that he's had to take time off to tend to his mental health. Do those factors mitigate the seriousness of what he's facing?
They don't mitigate the seriousness of what he's facing. They may mitigate the penalty, because the other thing we haven't talked about is that when it comes to drug offending, there is always the option of the drug diversion court. And again, taking it out of the realm of Mr. Spears personally, if someone is so addicted, so affected, so afflicted by drugs, that you look at them as a magistrate and you say, what you're doing is driven by need rather than greed, I'm going to put you in the drug diversion court, give you 12 to 18 months to dry out with regular appearances before the court to check on you, and if you keep your nose clean, you won't get penalised. So there does exist, in a mercy sense, that option for many, many drug offenders that go before the courts.
In the event there is a trial, is it a year off? Is it next year? Is it a total throw a dart at the board?
So the Supreme Court right now is listing murder trials for 2026.
I was going to say the Raylene Polemiadis case is 2026.
And the Supreme Court actually has a shorter trial list than the District Court.
Okay.
So I think you would be looking 2027 at the earliest.
Wow.
Now, I remain to be corrected on that, and if someone from the Courts of Administration Authority wishes to correct me, I would very much welcome the information, but right now, that's based on the tea leaves, that's how it looks.
It's a mightily long time to leave your whole life on hold, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is why we talk about people being on remand and on home detention rather than in custody for this long. Can you imagine?
That's why you're the best in the business, Sean. That was just unbelievable. That's as good. You're not going to hear a better explanation than that of what to expect Friday and going forward in this case, or indeed on these sorts of matters anywhere else. We appreciate your time. Thanks very much for coming in.
Keep it locked onto advertiser.com.au all day Friday. I will be reporting as soon as I possibly can.
It's very different from the American system where you can get re-elected as president despite awaiting trial for all sorts of things, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe you missed a trick, David Spears. Is that what you're saying?
Moved to the US. His brother's over there. He's on the PGA Tour. Very good golf for his brother.
All right, let's check traffic. Thank you, Sean. Do you need pragmatic and relevant commercial legal advice? Contact JFL and Smith Lawyers, nationally recognised local specialists.
Thanks, Will. At Blair Athol, urgent telecommunication works at Grand Junction Road near Florence Avenue. Chandler's Hill, small bingle at the intersection of Chandler's Hill Road and Pickett Range Road. Adelaide 500 road closures are up and running, so super slow around the east end of the city. If you've got to use the Parade or Green Hill Road to get into the city this morning, best advice is to leave early. The King Black November sale is on now. Save up to 60% on selected furniture designs. Hurry, sale on now. Shop online or visit a King Living showroom today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Right now, there's never been a better time to buy a new forklift from Toyota Material Handling. Choose from Toyota's massive range, famous for legendary reliability and safety. Plus, enjoy a low finance rate from just 2.9% on Toyota's 8 FBRE Reach forklifts and SWE 120S walkie stackers currently in stock. Hurry, limited time only. See the Toyota forklift range at toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Approved business applicants only. Terms, conditions, fees and charges apply. Maximum term is 48 months. Offer ends 28 Feb 2025.
Don't let the sun set on your energy savings. With NRG Solar's cutting-edge batteries, your energy independence lasts long after sunset. Enjoy the freedom of solar, even when you're not home. Experience the future of energy. NRG Solar's new warehouse is fully stocked with wholesale solar and battery equipment. See it for yourself. NRG Solar, 1275 South Road, St Mary's, or call 1300 858 160 to explore a brighter, more sustainable tomorrow.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's blocking up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on, or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. Precise Plumbing and Electrical. On time, on budget, on the job.
Or a plumber or electrician, call Precise. Precise.
It can happen at any time, more often than you think. Suddenly, through illness or accident, you could lose the capacity to manage your financial or personal affairs. What happens next? Who makes medical or health decisions? Who controls the family trust? From the simplest to the most complex wills and estate plans, Donlan Lawyers will answer your questions and help carry out your wishes. For wills and estate planning, visit donlanlawyers.com, Hindmarsh Square, Adelaide, and Ocean Street, Victor Harbour.
Feeling stuck? Henry Bloom's Herbalax to the rescue. It relieves constipation and promotes bowel regularity. Feel light, free and ready to go with Henry Bloom's Herbalax 200 grams dried herb or capsules. Always follow the directions for use.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Drive away in the Tucson Hybrid by Hyundai from just $46,990 drive away. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
4 minutes to 8. Let's check in with Jade Robran, who's out on the road for Duttons again this morning. Morning again to you, Jade.
Good morning, guys. I've got an update on the volcano eruption near Bali. As we've been hearing on the news this morning, flights in and out of Bali have been cancelled due to a volcanic eruption at a nearby island, and that ash is billowing over Bali, making it just too dangerous to fly in and out of. Now, I can tell you that Virgin are in an emergency meeting right now. Jetstar and Qantas are meeting at 11:30, and there'll be absolutely no flights until at least 2 p.m. today. But there are reports that this volcanic ash is really thick. It's risen up to 10 metres altitude with fireballs and debris smashing down on local villages, and that black ash and smoke is just spewing out of the mountain and blanketing the air for several kilometres. So I can't see, and going by the past couple of years when we've seen volcanic ash erupting, this tends to go on for several days, if not weeks. But we know the Jetstar flight JQ125 at 6:15 a.m. was meant to depart from Adelaide to Denpasar this morning. That was cancelled. My mum is on a flight to Bali tomorrow. That looks like that flight has also been cancelled. But here are some passengers talking on Sunrise a little earlier.
My partner looked at me and she's like, we've been on the plane now for about 2 hours. So we were there for about 3 hours before we actually figured out what we were going to do.
Yeah, we got about halfway across Aussie and then we had to turn around midway. The captain said over the loudspeaker that there's been a volcano erupt.
Thank you for that, Jade. It just sounds like an absolute nuisance, doesn't it?
Well, it's a nuisance, but I reckon it's not as big a nuisance as being on a jet that sucks up half a kilo of volcanic ash into its engines, isn't it? I mean, that's
right.
You know, it's one of those things where I think most people would be philosophical about it.
It's not like it's been cancelled because of some other form of tardiness down the line with multiple late flights and yours just cops it.
Yeah, it's not like
there's a legitimate safety reason.
Avoidable technical problem or a strike or something like that.
But as you described right earlier, for those people, Dave Lloyd said there's people on Virgin that have said, we get a refund, we'll book you in again for 8 days' time. No one has a bottomless pit of cash to...
Well, the other thing is you need to go when you leave with your employer.
Absolutely.
And there's probably people who are already a few days into their leave. They've been getting organised, maybe doing a few things around the house that they've not had the time to do, and then it's all right, you beauty, now we're on holiday, and you can't really ring the boss and say, oh, yeah, you know how I was going to be off for the next 10 days, I now want to come back and then go again in 10. It's not a conversation you want to have, is it?
No, that's just miserable. The opposite of miserable is World Kindness Day, and that's today, which is a wonderful thing to celebrate. And we have some great news here on 5AA for one lucky listener. Nominations have been coming in thick and fast to the 5AA website. There were people nominating who think other people thought deserve recognition for being kind. Our winner today is Simon Riak. Now, Simon, you were nominated by Sharona, and she mentioned that you selflessly help others in aged care and always spread joy at local events. So we would like to say to you, Simon, a big congratulations. Your prize is a $500 fuel voucher, all thanks to Calvary Healthcare. Calvary's been caring for the South Australian community since 1902. Calvary, celebrating World Kindness Day.
Nominated by Sharona. Should be a song about that.
By Sharona.
By Sharona.
Good on you, Simon. Congratulations to you. 5AA News Time, breaking 8 next.
Local news and information first. This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Partly cloudy and 23 today with the 8 o'clock news. Good morning. I'm Graham Goodings.
Make RAA-approved windscreen repairer, Complete Windscreens, your insurer repairer of choice. Visit completewindscreens.com.au.
A person has died in a house fire at Morford Vale overnight. Rachel Guy says the CFS and MFS were called to the blaze on Woodcroft Drive. The deceased occupant wasn't found until the fire had been extinguished.
One occupant was found deceased inside the property. The house is a total loss with the estimated damage value of approximately $500,000.
The cause of the fire is yet to be established. A driver has rammed his car into a crowd at a sports centre in southern China, killing at least 35 people. 45 others have been injured in one of the deadliest attacks in modern Chinese history. The 62-year-old man behind the wheel has been detained and hospitalised for self-inflicted wounds. The state government says it inherited a skills crisis from the former Liberal government. New data shows the Marshall government fell a long way short of its claimed 21,000 apprenticeships and traineeships. Training and Skills Minister Blair Boyer says the focus now is on key areas.
Making sure we grow the South Australian workforce in the areas where we need it most. And we're seeing that now through growth in areas like construction, which is really important for the new home builds that we're going to have and for things like the Women's and Children's Hospital, in those trades that are linked to defence, which of course will be really important around AUKUS and in education too.
3 teenagers will face the Elizabeth Youth Court today after being arrested overnight. Police spotted the teens just after midnight running away from a ute that was on its side on the footpath of Midway Road, Elizabeth Downs. 2 14-year-olds and a 17-year-old were arrested nearby on Hamlin Road. The car had been stolen earlier in the night from an Elizabeth North address, along with the victim's wallet and car keys. The alleged 14-year-old driver faces 7 charges in court, including illegal use and breach of bail. The 2 passengers have also been charged with aggravated serious criminal and trespass and theft. The Archbishop of Canterbury, who leads 85 million Anglicans around the world, has resigned. Justin Welby admits he failed to act on a child abuse case and is stepping down in sorrow with all survivors of abuse. Accused child abuser John Smythe was active for 50 years up until his death in 2018. Former Bishop Gavin Ashenden has told BBC Welby has handled the case the wrong way.
It's obvious, really, to the whole of our national community that the effects of sexual abuse are profound and very damaging to the victims, but also if there's any attempt at a cover-up. And a cover-up can either be deliberate or come from incompetence.
An election for a new Archbishop of Canterbury was already due mid-next year. Warnings will be printed on individual cigarettes when new regulations take effect next year. Messages like poison in every puff and causes 16 cancers are due to begin appearing from April. University of Sydney Associate Professor Becky Freeman says it takes current warnings on packaging a step further.
We've had the graphic health warnings on the packages in Australia, for over 10 years now. There's been a bit of wear out. You've got to refresh these things and try new approaches. And, having that warning right on the cigarette, right where you hold it, right where you put it in your mouth, is going to have an effect on people.
But the industry is concerned it won't be able to implement the change in time, which could see supplies dwindle and smokers seek out illegal cigarettes. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Enjoy 10-year warranty and capped price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi Nailsworth and the new Agostino Mitsubishi Mawson Lakes.
Now here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. Thursday night football is set to be a big part of next year's AFL fixture, with reports there will be 23 of them. The full fixture will be officially coming out tomorrow, but there have been parts that have been slowly drip-fed, with Essendon to travel to take on Geelong in Geelong for only the second time since 1993 outside of COVID. Well, Alex de Minaur's ATP Finals campaign will end in the group stage after another straight sets loss, this time to Daniil Medvedev. Craig Gabriel is in Turin.
Alex de Minaur has one more round-robin match to play, but it's likely that it will not make a difference to his chances of making the semis, which are very remote. He's now lost both his round-robin matches, this time to Daniil Medvedev 6-2, 6-4. Medvedev was most definitely a big step up with his level compared to his first match with Taylor Fritz. The last round-robin match de Minaur plays will be against Fritz. Alex was trying to win his 250th career match. Also on the negative side of the ledger was Jordan Thompson and Max Purcell.
Well, South Aussie keeper Alex Carey has continued his rich vein of form to help SA beat New South Wales by 6 wickets in a one-dayer at Adelaide Oval. Chasing 198 to win, the home side did it comfortably in the 39th over, securing a bonus point thanks largely to Carey's 75, while Jake Lehmann finished unbeaten on 46 and Liam Scott was with him at the crease on 42. The Socceroos will train at Amy Park today in Melbourne ahead of tomorrow night's World Cup qualifier against Saudi Arabia. The Aussies are second in their group currently, along with tomorrow night's opponents, and must win to keep pace with Japan, who are top and are 5 points clear. Meantime, Matilda Caitlin Ford has scored for Arsenal in a 4-0 thrashing of Juventus in the Women's Champions League. And there was one game in the NFL to wrap up Week 10 with the Miami Dolphins upsetting the LA Rams 23-15. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate, experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
G'day there at Blair Athol. Urgent telecommunication works look out for today. Grain Junction Road near Florence Avenue. Chandler's Hill got a small bingle to look out for. Chandler's Hill Road and Picket Range Road intersection. And Adelaide 500 has got the road closures and delays around the east end of the city. If you need to use the Parade of Green Hill Road, best advice is to leave early. Camera 2 this morning, Main Road of Blackwood. Is your car overdue for a checkup? For just $28, Petters offers a brakes, steering and suspension check. Book your appointment online at petters.com.au today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast.
Stay cool. Service your aircon at Automasters. And keep cool with Cool Now, Pay Later options.
Partly cloudy, 23 today, 23 tomorrow, mostly sunny. Friday, mostly sunny, 29. And Saturday, a shower or two developing, 34. Right now, it's 18. More news as it happens on 5AA.
I'll grab a few people I know. We'll mark out some places to go. There's no invitation, just a destination, and that's the best freedom I know. Jump in the J-Coat. Jump in the J-Coat. Yeah, that's the best freedom I know.
The biggest threat to your business isn't your competition, it's cybercrime. Cybercrime threats impacting Australian businesses large and small continues to grow year on year. One call to one solution will put your business in a safe place and save you from the devastating consequences of cybercrime. It's the smartest, most cost-effective business decision you'll ever make. Stay safe and protected. Get in touch with One Solution. onesolution.net.au, a Platinum Telstra partner.
Everybody knows Right Price are the heating and cooling experts. So imagine how much you can save when they join forces with EcoVantage, the incentive experts. Together with Right Price, EcoVantage will help you source all the government incentives you're entitled to when it comes to heating and cooling your home, including energy-efficient heat pump hot water systems. Right Price and EcoVantage, the best of both worlds when it comes to heating, cooling and government incentives.
Hey Dad, it's me. You're a man in the know. Know a good electrician?
Sure do. Call BMS Electrical. They came out last week and were fantastic. They rewired the shed, installed a new ceiling fan and put 4 downlights in the veranda. Best of all, they arrived on time, gave me an accurate quote and explained exactly what needed to happen. You can trust them. Here, let me get you their number.
As always, you know Dad.
BMS Electrical, where trust is our trade. Call 8274 0100 or find us online.
Stay informed, get involved. 5AA, always Adelaide.
Drive away in the Tucson Hybrid by Hyundai from just $46,990 drive away. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
9 minutes to 8. We added some police to the South Australian Police Force this week from the UK and New Zealand. Grant Stevens officiated. We're going to be chatting with him after 8:30 this morning. The Police Commissioner will be in the studio with us very, very shortly.
That was the number, wasn't it? 15?
It was in the teens.
15,
yeah.
I think. Yeah, 15 down, 165 to go,
Well, they all
55
help.
to go.
They all help.
Yeah, they do all help.
We will be getting to breaking at 8 in just a moment, but there is an opportunity for you to call in if you're an Adelaide 500 enthusiast or you just like to get along for the weekend, because we have a pretty unique opportunity this morning, and we're going to give this away in the next 15 or 20 minutes. In fact, you can get calling now. Get on the line, 8223 0055. Chat with Paddy and Sam. We have all 4 days general admission tickets for 2 people, valued at $378. So general admission tickets for 2 people for all 4 days. But that's not all. You'll also get an Adelaide 500 helicopter scenic ride for 2 people.
Oh.
Now, the way we're going to do this is, and now there's something for everyone at the...
That's a great prize.
It's a great prize. There's something for everyone at the Adelaide 500. And we wanted to reflect that. We wanted to get someone along who really likes the weekend. And now there's more to the weekend than just the racing. So what we've got for you...
Look at the line already.
It's going berserk. Is a question. You get to choose the category this morning. For example, if you're the first caller that gets through with Sam and Paddy, you could pick cars. Cars are a category, makes sense. You could pick cold chisel. You know, I've got, for those on the Foodland Supermates Facebook and YouTube live stream, envelopes with these questions in them, cold chisel. You could choose aviation. You're going to be flying in a helicopter. You could choose Adelaide 500 history, or you can choose crowded house. Now, if you call through and get it wrong, that category's dead. The next person will have to call something, have to draw another category.
So it's like Jeopardy almost.
I don't think it's much like Jeopardy at all, is it?
Okay. No. Is it like Family Feud?
You don't have to answer in the form of a question.
Okay. So the answer is not, am I Ian Moss?
Yeah.
Am I Nick Percat?
Yeah, that's right. Who is Nick Percat is not one of the answers.
Right, okay.
Okay, so that's what we're going to play in a moment. So get calling now, and we'll row through the categories again. You can pick them out, and we can give away the helicopter flights and the 4-day general admission tickets to 2 people. We're doing that right after breaking at 8.
Well, today's Breaking at 8 is a sad one. Listeners will recall a couple of weeks ago we spoke to Cyril Toos, who was the 86-year-old Adelaide Hills man who became the tragic face of the waiting list crisis facing Australia's home-aged care system. It's our sad duty to report that last Friday, Mr. Toos passed away. He was a lovely bloke. I spoke to him a couple of times, and the member for Mayor, Rebecca Sharkey, did some wonderful, sincere and compassionate work trying to help him as he was grappling with the aged care system. We spoke to Mr. Toos a couple of weeks ago, and as a bit of a tribute to him, because I said to him, it's good that you're making a ruckus on the way out, mate, because it might not help you, but it will help other people who are in the same position as you. This is some of what Mr. Toos had to say.
It's been inundated with calls from people commending and telling me that the thing I'm doing is absolutely wonderful. It may not benefit me, David. It will benefit the next person down the line. It's about time this government got to look at what is happening in our health system. It is just ridiculous, the number of people that are suffering. There's nothing the doctors can do to help.
Are you still totally committed, though, Mr. Toos, to going down the euthanasia path? Because we don't want to see you go.
Yes, I am. Yeah, look, unfortunately, my life is just laying in this bed at the moment. I can't walk from here 3 meters to the door without being out of breath or hanging on to the door for the next breath. And to me, that's not life. Unfortunately, because of the heart problem, it's not pumping any fluid from the lungs. And the lungs will now just keep filling with fluid that obviously you cannot breathe. So They will not drain it again. It's too dangerous. If I go on the table to have it drained, I may not come off the table. So it's a catch-22 situation, David. We should not have to suffer like we're suffering now. I would not wish this on my worst enemy because it's not nice. It's not nice to do.
No.
But the government don't care.
Yeah, the poor bloke. And what is not clear, because when I spoke to Mr. Twos, he had already seen one GP who, on the basis of his unsurvivable heart and lung conditions, had approved him for voluntary assisted dying. He was scheduled to see a second GP. I believe he may have seen the second GP, but I don't know what the second GP said, because you need two opinions from separate medical practitioners before you're allowed to go down the VAD path. But I don't know whether he did die at his own hand through VAD or whether the condition got him in the end. I hope in a way that it was the latter, not the former, because it feels like part of his mental state at the end. He only had a brother and a niece living in Queensland, so he was on his own. The only
really
person he saw, and good on the staff at the Victor Harbour Hospital, who put on a bit of a get-together for him down there, and a lot of people, nurses and doctors, were there rallying around him. But you would hope that loneliness and isolation does not become a factor in making the ultimate decision, i.e. to end your life or not.
15 minutes after 8, Police Commissioner Grant Stevens coming up after 8:30 this morning. We're checking with Jade Robran again. But first, we have some incredible tickets to give away to the FIVEAA 500 this weekend, including a helicopter scenic ride for two people valued at $200, 4-day general admission tickets for two people as well. All up, this prize is worth about $600. And the first caller through is Craig in Brighton. Craig, good morning to you.
Morning, boys.
Now, Craig, you need to answer a question in a category of your choosing, okay? So I've got envelopes here people can see on the live stream. I'll give you the categories. You pick which one you want the question from, Craig, and we'll go from there. Cars, cold chisel, aviation, Adelaide 500 history, crowded house. Which category would you like, Craig?
I'll go your first one. Will, cars.
Cars it is. All right, let me open up and see
Good luck, Craig.
What we've got in the cars category. Now, if Craig gets it wrong, the next person has to choose another category. Here we go. Cars. Craig, what is the biggest selling Holden of all time?
It's got to be the Commodore.
I'm afraid not, Craig.
I would have said that.
It's the HQ Kingswood. 485,650 were made from 1971 to 1974, which means we go to Ben in Dulwich. Ben, good morning. You there, Ben?
Yeah, g'day.
Ben, which category would you like? Crowded house, Adelaide 500 history, aviation, or cold chisel?
Oh, it's got to be chisel, doesn't it?
Okay, cold chisel it is. All right. Cold chisel is the question. Which beachside pub did Cold Chisel make their name playing at?
Largs Pier Hotel.
Well done, Ben.
Who are you taking along to the race?
I'm not sure. I've got my 15-year-old son here with me, so he might be putting his hand up, I reckon.
Oh, well, at least you can get him on his best behaviour for the next day or two.
Thank you very much.
Good on you, Ben.
It's one hell of a prize.
It is. It's a great prize. Helicopter ride for two and general admission for all 4 days.
So you can go to those concerts, Crowded House Saturday night and Chisel Sunday night, by just buying like a general admission ticket.
That's right. All thanks to Golden North Ice Cream, proudly SA made for over 100 years. Well done, Ben. Good on you. That was
How good is Golden North ice cream? Golden North honey ice cream. One of the great things about being South Australian. I love that stuff.
Most certainly is. All right, it's 18 minutes after 8. We're going to check traffic and come back with more in just a moment. Do you need pragmatic and relevant commercial legal advice? Contact JFL and Smith Lawyers, nationally recognised local specialists.
Thanks, Will. At Blair Athol, urgent telecommunication works on Grand Junction Road near Florence Avenue are continuing. Chandler's Hill crash on Pickett Range Road near the Grant Scully Road intersection. Adelaide 500 road closures are in place, so that's affecting the east end of the city quite heavily. If you've got to use the Parade or Green Hill Road to get to work today, try leaving early. Got a camera 2 5S drive at Pasadena. Planning to knock down and rebuild? Get leading designs, guaranteed build times and all the right expertise at Burbank. Search Burbank Homes BLD 266709. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA Sports Shows. Stephen Rowe and Tim Jennifer.
Opening round is back. It's set to return with a blockbuster weekend to kick off the 25 season. There'll be 4 matches across Queensland, New South Wales, like it was this year. So it's opening round. It's 0 round. It's naught. Then the week after, it's round 1.
0 means nothing.
Nothing.
How silly.
It is.
The 5AA Sports Show.
Great example of the AFL again not listening to the fans.
Yeah. Weekdays from 4 p.m. on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Gone are the days of bulky solar panels. NRG Solar is ushering in a new era of sleek, efficient solar technology. With just a few panels, harness the power of the sun like never before. The equation is simple. More efficiency, more savings. Join the revolution with NRG Solar. Discover simplicity at 1275 South Road St Mary's or online at nrgsolar.com.au. NRG Solar, for a brighter, more sustainable tomorrow.
Rowie and I are at a local restaurant who have invested in the magnificently sleek and reliable Vulcan doors. Rowie, could you step outside for a moment, please?
No, why is it always me outside?
Thank you. Vulcan doors offer automatic pedestrian doors as well as highly secure industrial roller doors and shutters.
Oi, Jimmy!
So keep out the heat as well as the pests that come with it.
Turbo, when are you going to let me back in?
Vulcan doors.
Jimmy!
Separate yourself from the rest, literally.
Oi!
For World Kindness Day, 5AA is sharing stories of compassion. Calvary has been caring for the South Australian community since 1902. Calvary offers compassionate, connected and specialised care across hospitals, home care, retirement living and residential aged care.
By creating seamless connections across their services, Calvary is able to provide great care for you and your loved ones, whether in hospital, aged care or your own home.
The spirit of Calvary expresses how they care for each other and how they care for their patients, residents and clients by being for others. That means they put people at the centre of everything they do.
They've got such a good reputation, and word of mouth being what it is, everyone I know who's dealt with Calvary has just got nothing but good stories to say about it. Calvary continues to grow and shape its service in SA to meet the needs of the community it serves. Calvary, celebrating World Kindness Day.
It all started with a pen and paper 35 years ago. Lots of ideas and a ton of innovation. Nothing's changed. Beechwood Homes is still building stunning bespoke homes right across South Australia. Under construction right now is another Beechwood Homes masterpiece at Blackwood Park. This new display home will showcase Beechwood's dedication to cutting-edge design, craftsmanship and innovation. If you can dream it, Beechwood Homes can build it. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home.
Are you sitting down? Good, because what you're about to hear is unprecedented, unbeatable, unparalleled. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen is giving you 3 days, just 3 days to walk in and drive out in your dream Mawson Lakes Volkswagen. All makes, all models, all colours, all ready to drive away. This Thursday, Friday and Saturday only. Do not miss this. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen's unprecedented 3-day sale. Thursday to Saturday, Salisbury Highway, just a short drive from the city.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Drive away in the Tucson Hybrid by Hyundai from just $46,990 drive away. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
23 minutes after 8.
Good afternoon, passengers. Please have your boarding pass and identification ready.
All right, let's have a look at the fuel situation. It's better to be a member with RAA Rewards. Download the RAA app and start saving today. Some good spots to fill up this morning. You can get unleaded for $1.52.5 at the ex-convenience Clemzig on North East Road, $1.57.5 the ex-convenience Seaford on Shearer Drive, and $1.57.9 at the ex-convenience ex-convenience in Plympton on Cross Road. Diesel, the best we could spot, $71.5 at the United Melrose Park on South Road. We just played the cruise sound effect, which means someone has been added to the list to get on this magnificent cruising opportunity, the Silversea Silver Nova. This is one of their newest cruising ships as well, and Phil Hoffman Travel don't know how to send you on a bad cruise experience.
No.
So together, this is going to be unbelievable. Silversea Luxury Cruising and Phil Hoffman Travel, creating moments you'll never forget. Visit pht.com.au. Worth $18,000 if you don't mind this cruise to Singapore. This would be the trip of a lifetime. And Marion in Paravista has had her name added to the list. Marion, congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
Have you been on a cruise before, Marion?
Yes, we have, and we absolutely love it.
Whereabouts did you go?
We went to Antarctica.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That must have been so good.
It was just the most brilliant trip ever, yes.
Was that Macquarie Island?
No, it was down to the peninsula.
Oh, wow. Did you see all sorts of penguins and stuff?
We saw lots of penguins, some seals, and whales, and the ospreys were just beautiful, yes.
Sensational. What an experience. Well,
yes.
You're in the running, Marion, so good luck.
Yep.
All the very best.
You've got a chance, and we've got more chances for people to be added to the list tomorrow morning on the program, but you can also, by listening out for the boarding call, be added to the short list on other programs on 5AA across the day as well. So keep the dial on $13.95, and you could be on the cruise of a lifetime.
Apparently those cruises to Patagonia are really amazing, down the southern tip of Argentina and Chile.
That looks amazing.
Yeah, and there's all these glaciers that you go right up next to them, and it looks stunning.
It won't be as cold as Patagonia, but we're going to be in Hallett Cove on Friday morning. We're going to be broadcasting live from the Boat Shed Cafe.
The Boat Shed Cafe is excellent. We had a wonderful Mother's Day there about 6 years ago with my late mother-in-law, Rosie. It was excellent. She was a Shido Park girl. And beautiful spot down near by the boardwalk.
This is going to be great because the Boat Shed Cafe typically doesn't open till 8 o'clock. They're going to open from 6 a.m. because we're going to be there. So you can come down, say hi, maybe share your thoughts on the black by-election, what you think's going to happen.
Yeah, just come and talk nonsense.
We want to hear some local local intel.
If you're having your morning constitutional along the wonderful esplanade there, pop in and say good day.
So we'll be there from 6 o'clock. The Boat Shed Cafe on Friday morning.
We're going to have a good breakfast, I reckon.
It's an interesting seat, the seat of black. As of the 2021 census, 35,511 people live there. The ancestry is interesting. 45.9% of people listed English as one of the two ancestries that you can name on the census. I got too deep on this this morning reading about how people fill out census ancestry data because, as you'll hear, it adds up to more than 100%. So 45.9 say English, 33.3 say Australian, 10.5% say Scottish, 9.9% Irish, 7.2% say German. Now, the reason
you can do multiple answers.
You can say two.
Because you could say Polish and English.
Or Polish and Australian, for example, whatever it might well be. You can name two. The religious affiliation, interestingly, 51.6% of the seat has no religious affiliation. 61.2 say Catholic, 8.8 say Anglican, 4.5 say Uniting. Again, the percentages are a bit misleading because of how the census collates the data, but it gives you some sort of intel. The data from the census in 2021 will be interesting. How relevant this component is as of 2024, because there's been a bit of a change in employment status given COVID and the changing workplace. But full-time workers, 54.7% of the seat, part-time 35.7%. It was created in 2016, the seat of black, formerly named Mitchell before the redistribution. And of course, the incumbent, David Spears, not recontesting, with, we understand, a particularly high personal vote. That means that...
That's the worry for the Libs.
That Labor certainly think it's in play.
Yeah, I reckon it's well and truly in play.
Well, we still get people that complain to the program every morning that it's some sort of a David Spears witch hunt that goes on because...
A woman rang before...
Because it might be newsworthy the former leader of the opposition
poor old
is
Sam.
on supply charges.
Yeah, that's right. Making mountains out of molehills, apparently.
Right, that's right.
But no, there's a woman who rings Sam every time we talk about David Spears. She rang earlier and said, can you please ask those two if they are ever going to reveal that they are paid up shills for the Australian Labor Party? I wonder what Terry and Henley Beach would make of that allegation.
Yeah, Terry. Do you care to retort?
Exactly. Pair of Tory scumbags. Anyway, it's good to be copping abuse from both sides of the political aisle.
We will find out more on Saturday.
I'm just really in it for the egg and bacon rolls.
That's right. We'll be at the Boatshed Cafe,
Yeah.
so you can air your grievances in person if you like.
100%.
5AA News is coming up. The Police Commissioner, Grant Stevens, joins us next.
Ever driven a better car than yours? Now you can. The Tucson Hybrid by Hyundai. From $46,990 drive away. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today. T's and C's at hyundai.com.au.
Adelaide's local, trusted and truly connected talkback radio station. 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Join over 60,000 Adelaide homes and say yes to lowering your energy bills with Yes, your energy saving solutions. Do you know how much that old fridge in the shed is adding to your electricity bill? Your energy saving solutions can collect your old inefficient fridges and freezers for free, and the best part is that you can also get up to $150 per unit. For T's and C's on this unbeatable offer from your energy saving solutions, go to yes.net.au. That's yess.net.au.
How many times a day do you experience hand or wrist pain? If simple things like cooking, holding a cup of tea or coffee, and recreational activities are giving you pain, do something about it. At Grip Surgery, we specialise in hand trauma, carpal tunnel syndrome, osteoarthritis, joint replacement, sports injuries, nerve pain, and more. To get a grip on the life you loved before, free from hand pain, visit gripsurgery.com.au. That's gripsurgery.com.au.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Partly cloudy and 23 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Graham Goodings.
Chipped windscreen? RAA approved repairer Complete Windscreens repairs it from just $99. Find the big red koala.
A person has been found deceased inside a Morford Vale house overnight. Firefighters were called to the home on Woodcroft Drive around 3 a.m. SA Ambulance attended the scene, but the resident had died in the blaze. The property was destroyed and damage is set at around $500,000. Police are investigating the cause. A tragic day on South Australian roads yesterday with two fatal accidents. A 43-year-old man who was cycling along the Dukes Highway at Brimbago in the southeast collided with a van. The cyclist died at the scene while the van driver wasn't injured. Senior Constable Scott James telling David and Will the second accident was yesterday afternoon around 2:30.
Emergency services were called to Vindana Road at Paralawi after reports that a motorbike had crashed into a tree. Sadly, the rider, a 32-year-old man from Elizabeth East, died at the scene. So the man's death is the 77th life lost on South Australian roads this year.
Defence Minister Richard Marles is in town today to sign a key construction contract ahead of Australia's $368 billion nuclear submarine project. It comes despite uncertainty over the AUKUS Pact's future following the election of Donald Trump. The contract signing will see preparatory work at the Osborne Naval Shipyard, the recruitment of workers and setting foundations for the project. Richard Marles says the agreement is another major milestone towards the construction of nuclear-powered submarines in Adelaide. The head of the Church of England has been granted permission by the King to resign. Justin Welby has been under pressure to leave the role of Archbishop of Canterbury after a report found the Church failed to act on a child abuser who was active for 50 years. Anglican campaigner Jane Ozana says it's time for honesty.
I really hope that this is a time where everything can come into the light, where we can be honest about all our failings, and I hope therefore start to regain the trust and confidence of a public who I think years ago voted with their feet when it came to the Church of England.
That audio courtesy of the BBC. Multiple flights to and from Bali are cancelled. A volcano has erupted in Indonesia, spewing molten ash 5 kilometres into the air. Jetstar, Qantas and Virgin passengers are all being affected. Facebook parent company Meta has been handed a Shonky Award by Consumer Group Choice. The The 19th Annual Shonky Awards single out products and services which often fail to meet expectations. Choice says if you're going to be scammed online, on any kind of social network, there's an extremely high chance you're being scammed on a Meta-owned platform. They say WhatsApp, Facebook and Instagram combined accounted for a whopping 76% of all reported losses to scams. Burma the elephant has spent her first night at Monarto. She was given a rock star welcome yesterday after touching down at Adelaide Airport mid-afternoon. A police escort from the metro area to the safari park running smoothly, with no major traffic hassles despite it being peak hour. Seven's Casey Dror says now she has acclimatised to her new surroundings.
This quarantine will be dependent on her, or dependent on, how well she takes to the environment. No doubt there will be challenges. She's gone from a pretty lush and green enclosure over there in Auckland to essentially the dirt and desert safari-like conditions out at Monarto.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Enjoy 10-year warranty and capped price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi Nailsworth and the new Agostino Mitsubishi Mawson Lakes.
Tom Wren, more Thursday night footy.
Looking that way, isn't it, Graham? It's going to be just 2 rounds of football next year, not featuring Thursday night football, which is a huge increase. Now, the AFL fixture will be officially released tomorrow. Meantime, 8 players across the Crows and Port Adelaide have been named in the women's All-Australian squad. Chelsea Bedell, Caitlin Gould, Ebony Marinoff, Danielle Ponta and Chelsea Randall have made it from the Crows, while Emily Borg, Shanae Goody and Matilda Scholes are in from the Power. To tennis, Nick Kyrgios has revealed he was given just a 15% chance of making a return to the tennis tour. The former world number 13 has declared his love for tennis again after overcoming 2 knee surgeries and a wrist reconstruction to be fit for the upcoming Australian Open. Kyrgios says it's been a long road back.
15, miracle percent chance that I was going to get back to playing at this level, and here we are. I've already won in my eyes, and now everything I do on the tennis court, if I win a match or win a tournament or anything like that, is going to be a bonus.
We'll stick with tennis. Alex de Minaur will bow out of the ATP finals in the group stage after going down to Daniil Medvedev in straight sets. Doubles pairing, Jordan Thompson and Max Purcell are still in semi-final contention despite losing their second match. Meantime, Yannick Sinner has just won his second match in the singles in the round-robin stage after easily taking care of American Taylor Fritz in straight sets. And in some cricket to finish, South Australia sits on top of the One Day Cup table after beating New South Wales by 6 wickets. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate, experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
At Blair Athol, urgent telecommunication works on Grand Junction Road near Florence Avenue. Chandler's Hill, crash on Picket Range Road near Grants Gully Road intersection. Adelaide 500 is up and running, so got a few detours around the east end of the city. Avoid if you can, she's super slow at the moment. And Cameras 5S Drive Pasadena and Hub Drive at Aberfoyle Park. With Ford's 15 days of demo deals, get a $1,000 gift card with eligible demos from November 16 until November 30. While vehicle stocks last at participating dealers, T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now, the 5AA forecast.
Stay cool. Service your aircon at Automasters. And keep cool with Cool Now, Pay Later options.
Partly cloudy, 23 today. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, 23. Friday, mostly sunny, 29. Saturday, a shower or two developing, 34. Currently, it's 16. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Ray White, big name in real estate, but also the biggest name in business broking. What makes us big? Our people, like Brett Buckley and his team. MBA, lecturer, and multi-time SA Business Broker of the Year. Brett doesn't just read a P&L, he feels it. If you're selling or expanding your business, Brett can take your business apart and find you more money. And we're not talking small change. Go on, touch base with Brett. Search Ray White Business Sales SA.
Now, home maintenance can be a total pain. You need to know a plumber, an electrician, a handyman and a renovator, or you could swap all these numbers for just the one. Thanks, Precise Plumbing and Electrical.
From plumbing and electrical work to pipe relining, bathroom renovations and handyman services, they're your one-stop solution with 25 years' worth of happy customers.
They'll service all areas of Adelaide and be there on time every time with an expert in your field of need, ready to do top-notch work. In fact, they're so confident in their expertise, their workmanship comes with a lifetime warranty.
With free quotes and upfront fixed pricing, Precise Plumbing and Electrical is a name you can trust and the only name you need to remember. Visit preciseservices.com.au.
$20,000. Sounds awesome, yeah? Imagine winning it.
Edwardstown Mazda and only Edwardstown Mazda is giving you the chance to win $20,000. Buy a new, demo or used car from Edwardstown Mazda during their incredible 2024 plate clearance sale and you're in the draw. Why would you go anywhere else? Your dream Mazda and $20,000?
It's gotta be
Edwardstown Mazda, the #1 destination for Mazda in SA. T's and C's apply. T24/1786.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Drive away in the Tucson Hybrid by Hyundai from just $46,990 drive away. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
22 minutes to 9. Jump on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream. We see the Police Commissioner live in the 5AA Breakfast studio with us in just a moment. A few Dutton's texts on the Dutton's text line first, though. Dutton's car dealerships in the Adelaide Hills and Murray Bridge. They are easy to do business with.
Good on you, Terry. You gave us a laugh. You often do, mate. Terry, our resident lefty, we were revealing on air that we've been accused of being Labor Party propagandists by one of our listeners, upset about the David Spears coverage. And Terry's just written in on the Dutton's text line simply saying, Terry has just collapsed. Good on you, mate.
You, Terry. Police Commissioner Grant Stevens, good morning to you.
Good morning.
So, Commissioner, we were talking, in fact, I was talking over the weekend about this. Anecdotally, and the Tizer had the story on Monday, it feels like in Adelaide, all these shops, so-called gift stores and what have you.
Yep, convenience stores.
They've vanished overnight. Well, a lot of them seem to have vanished. There were 200. You've put a big ding in it, haven't you?
Look, I don't have any specific information about how many are still trading, but we've I think we've really given it a fair nudge in terms of preventing the organised crime activity around these illicit tobacco stores. So they may well be some trading, but our observation is that supply has dried up a little bit, and I think we've created a massive disincentive for these 3 or 4 organised crime groups to be involved in South Australian retail areas, trying to extort or intimidate people selling illicit tobacco.
Has that been achieved by going into stores and shutting them down, or has it been achieved by arresting? I know because there has been arrests being made of people who are part of this racket. 17. So far we've arrested 17 people, and it's for serious offences like arson, extortion, money laundering, serious criminal trespass, affray, assault. So these are serious offences, and we're targeting the right people. Whether or not we will prevent the sale of illicit tobacco is another question, and that is a job for Consumer and Business Affairs. But we've become heavily involved when we saw this spate of serious criminal offending that needed to be dealt with. So we've got a dedicated task force, and I think it's kicking goals at the moment.
Does it have an offshore component? Because just having a quick squiz at all the names of the people who've been arrested, none of them appear to be called, Brian Harrison. It seems to be quite a sort of international type.
It's organised crime groups, and with any sort of commodity, we see different types of organised crime groups getting involved. There could be outlaw motorcycle gangs, or it could be ethnic-based organised crime. So, and that's probably a feature of what we're seeing is these people who have been active in South Australia, causing us problems and sort of impacting on community safety. A lot of that has emanated from the eastern seaboard, particularly Victoria.
Well, you mentioned Victoria. I know you've been working in close conjunction with Victoria Police as well with this operation. Are arrests made in conjunction? Are they the culmination of a joint effort, and you try to seize people at the same time, or are you operating in arresting people independently?
We have had Victorian police officers over here doing some investigation work alongside us, but that was for offences committed in Victoria. All of the arrests that have happened here have been by South Australian Police. We are sharing information with Victoria and working closely from that side of things almost on a daily basis.
The raids seem to be the big whack, though.
So far we've taken out of circulation almost $4 million worth of illicit tobacco products, and that's at their price, the cheaper price, not the retail price for the legitimate stuff. Seized nearly $1 million in cash, 6 cars, firearms. We're working really hard to sort of suppress this criminal activity.
You might not be able to answer this, but I'm intrigued because obviously the organised crime component of this is about protecting turf and clearly the opportunity to run a protection racket but they're not the people exclusively doing the trading of illegal tobacco.
No.
What's the profile of the person? Because
I think it's quite diverse. And it's another one of those aspects of this where.
But otherwise, law-abiding?
Well, potentially, but
Yeah.
you know, it's a bit of a slippery slope. If you're prepared to break one rule, what other rules do you
sure.
break? So, but,
Broken windows.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. So if you and it's there's a profit to be made here, and people will exploit an opportunity to make a profit.
Mm.
And it still goes back to the fact that, and I understand the mindset, but we've got ordinary South Australians who are prepared to buy illicit tobacco from these people selling it. So that's the market. So they're satisfying a market that's out there.
What's the hardest thing about making a cop in England a cop in South Australia?
Telling them not to call me Gov. It's actually not really hard.
Hello, you lot.
Hello. We are looking for police officers with a minimum of 3 years experience, operational experience. So we're not training them to be police officers. We're inducting them into South Australia Police. So, our rules and procedures, our legislation, a lot of them don't sort of normally carry firearms. So there's the firearms training, driver training. We are basically inducting them into SOPOL, and they get through that program in 15 weeks instead of 9.5 months. And they hit the ground running when they go out. And we do have a relatively junior workforce in a lot of our operational areas, so being able to sort of inject that experience is a really good thing. So we had 15 start this week. That was the first 15. We've actually done. I know there's some sort of speculation that 15 doesn't sound very much, but this is the foot in the door type thing. 10 months it took us to get from the very beginning of our international recruiting program to having the first 15 start, and it is a complex process. They have to apply for their visas. We assist them in that process, but we're relying on Home Affairs to process them, and we're also looking for these people to think about the implications of relocating yourself and or your family overseas. Moving house, finding a new place to live, packing up. So the first 15 are here now. We have 2 more courses starting in January, and we're aiming for up to 200 international recruits to go through our 15-week induction program.
But isn't there an easier way to do it? Because, I don't want to sound cynical, but 15 out of the current numbers is a bit of a, putting a Band-Aid on a gaping wound in terms of how far behind you are.
It's 15 out of 200.
Yeah.
And as I said, these people will be coming through much more quickly now, because we still have people in the UK. I think we've got 88 people who have been made offers. 80 of those have accepted the offer, and they're in the process now of finalising their visa process. And we've had something like 450 applications from international recruits. New Zealand, UK, 450 applications.
450.
Yeah, and that was in the last financial year. So,
is it quicker and easier to maybe have some sort of interstate recruitment campaign?
Well, it'd be great if you guys stop advertising Western Australia Police on the radio. so that's not helping. But you guys
have got an advertising budget, don't you?
Yeah.
I was going to say, talk to Dan Cregan.
This is a community effort.
We'll advertise anything.
Yeah. This is a community effort. We are advertising in other jurisdictions around Australia. We're in New Zealand as well. We're just about to start in Canada, looking for people from the RCMP. So we're sort of out in every market we can get to. We don't get as many from interstate as you might think. And when you consider the logistics of moving from one jurisdiction to another, nowadays it's not one breadwinner in the family who the family follows. You've got 2 people working, kids are in schools. It's a big ask to ask people to relocate for the same job in a different location. We do get people, and it's usually family based. They're returning to be around family, or they follow someone else back. So we're in as many markets as we can be to encourage people, but we're also really encouraging South Australians to think about a policing career, and we've just lowered the age that people can apply to 17, so they can go right through the process and be ready to go as soon as they turn 18. So we're doing everything we can to make it as attractive as possible to South Australians, but 200 from overseas will make a big difference, and we're pretty confident we'll hit that target. So it's only 15 now, but we're on track.
What happens to are their ranks conferred in any way? Do they have to start again? Or
well, they do start at the bottom, but we recognise 100% of their previous service. So once they are through the academy process, they'll be fast-tracked to their substantive rank.
Okay, that's good. So you're getting all levels of policing
recognition of prior service, which means once they're through their probation, because we still do a probation to make sure that they integrate really well into the way we operate. if they've got previous qualifications that enable them that put them to a certain rank with that experience at that rank, then they'll be able to apply here in South Australia as well.
Do you think that the shortfall in numbers has fueled perceptions that there are now some categories of crime that no longer get policed?
I think, well, firstly, we always draw a line as to where we will deploy our resources, and not every reported crime requires a police officer to attend. Obviously there are things we consider in terms of solvability, whether there's an offender there, whether someone's safety is at risk or the premises are at risk of further damage. But we do draw a line there, and we do that assessment. That happens. It's always happened that way. We haven't stopped doing anything at this point in time, and we're still meeting our benchmarks for responding to urgent taskings. There is a bit of a blowout in terms of some of those less urgent ones, because we are prioritising our resources to make sure they're going to the right jobs. So I don't think we're not stopping doing anything at this point in time, but as we see the population grow, if there's not some sort of a proportionate increase in our resources, then there will be times when we are going to take longer to get there.
We see elections being fought all the time, though, over law and order. I mean, it just happened in Queensland 2 weeks ago. Do you think that there's a bigger role for the state government to get involved and to give you more assistance?
Well, to their credit, at this point, they have funded us for an additional 189 police security officers. These are second-tier police officers, and they're doing excellent work in a lot of the jobs that our frontline police have historically done, which means those frontline police are free to do those things that require those policing authorities or training. And we are working with the government in relation to what the future for policing looks like in South Australia to make sure that we are properly resourced to provide the level of service that South Australians expect of us.
Good stuff. Police Commissioner Grant Stephen, thanks for coming in. We'll see you again soon.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers. All right, let's check traffic. Do you need pragmatic and relevant commercial legal advice? We'll contact JFL and Smith Lawyers, nationally recognised local specialists.
Thanks, Will. At Blair Athol, urgent telecommunication works on Grand Junction Road near Florence Avenue. Chandler's Hill, crash on Picket Range Road near the Grand Scully Road intersection, and Adelaide 500 closures in replace. East end of the city, really busy. Avoid that on the drive-in and drive home if you can. Cameras, Cherry Gardens Road, Cherry Gardens and 5S Drive at Pasadena. Visit the virtual reality experience in the Gawler Centre today to visualise the future of transport in South Australia in 30 years. Transportstrategy.sa.gov.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Coming up on 5AA Mornings after the 9 o'clock news, should your age determine how long you drive a car? We'll have a look at that issue this morning. Also, the Premier, Peter Malinauskas, with world-leading electoral donation ban legislation before State Parliament. Those topics, a lot more as well. I'm Matthew Pantelis. Join me after the news.
Hi, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years, we, the Lynn Andrews team, have specialised in commercial and residential property management. But above all, we specialise in people, helping to make life easier for investors and tenants. Everyone is treated with empathy and respect. It's the way we do business. It's the Lynn Andrews way. For residential and commercial property management, we're here to help you. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
Doing day-to-day things online has made our lives easier. Paying bills, shopping, banking. It all makes perfect sense to do online. But what doesn't make sense is doing your will online. It's fraught with potential problems and can leave a mess behind. From the simplest to the most complex wills and estate plans, Donlan Lawyers can answer your questions and help carry out your final wishes properly. For wills and estate planning, visit donlanlawyers.com, Hindmarsh Square, Adelaide, and Ocean Street, Victor Harbour.
The BJ in BJ Energy stands for Benjamin Jack, the director, and the energy, well, that stands for savings. BJ Energy specialise in saving their clients money by harnessing the power of the sun. So book a tailored consultation with a genuine company you can trust. And remember, if they wouldn't put it on their own roof, they certainly won't put it on yours. BJ Energy only use quality materials and brands like SolarEdge. For a free, no obligation quote, visit bjenergy.com.au.
Wing it, fake it till you make it. Near enough is good enough. Some trades reckon experience is overrated. It's boring. At C&N Concrete Soaring, the only boring we do is through your concrete. C&N Concrete Soaring scan, cut, core and break concrete for pipes and cables in houses through to factories and everywhere in between. And we've been doing it since 1990. At C&N Concrete Soaring, experience does matter. It's not boring. Go to cndn.com.au.
The Steinborner Group has done it again. The Jack T9 Ute has landed at Jack Motors in Gawler. Enjoy a 5-star ANCAP safety rating, a 7-year warranty, 7-year roadside assist and 7-year capped price servicing. The Jack T9 features a 2-litre 4-cylinder turbocharged diesel engine. This 4x4 dual-range ute boasts an impressive 3-tonne towing capacity, a 1,045-kilogram payload and a tray that fits a standard pallet. Starting from just $45,980 drive away, Jack Motors is well worth a trip. Visit gawlerjackmotors.com.au.
Drive away in the Tucson Hybrid by Hyundai from just $46,990 drive away. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
6 minutes to 9. Jade Robran has been out on the road reporting for us right throughout the morning, doing a wonderful job as always. Jade, good morning again to you.
Good morning, guys. Sometimes you get sent on a pretty unique story and get very lucky. Well, today is one of those days. I'm at the Panda home. I'm standing right in front of Wang Wang, only a few metres away. Today it is Wang Wang and Funi's last day at the Adelaide Zoo. You have until 5 o'clock to come in and say goodbye. Will, I know that you're going to be one of the first people down here to say goodbye to these cute pandas. You love them so much, but can you please take a look at the Foodland Supermarket's live stream? Wang Wang and Funi right now are having breakfast, and it's the most active time of the day that you will see them. Right now, he's munching down on his bamboo. He's very active. In fact, one of the workers came down just a moment ago and just said, wow, this is the most spectacular photo I have had of him in the 15 years that he's been here. I think he knows that it's showtime and he's got to turn it on for us. But I tell you what, they might not have had a love affair with each other, but we've certainly had a love affair with them. It has been a magical couple of years, and joining us now is Dr. Phil Ainsley, who you've been looking after these beautiful pandas for quite some time. Today's a bit bittersweet, I'm guessing.
It is. Unfortunately, today is the final day in 15 years that people will be able to see Funi and Wang Wang on habitat at here at Adelaide Zoo before they head back to China at the end of this week.
It has been a love affair for us. They haven't loved each other, but that's okay. We've got some new pandas coming in, but today it's all about them. There is a panda party at 1:15. What's happening?
So at 1:15, people will be able to come down, and we have some of our volunteers that make amazing enrichment items, and it's been made of all the letters and well wishes that visitors and members of the public have sent in over the last couple of months. So there's over 1,000 of those which have made these incredible bits of items that we've put some of their favourite food items, so some panda cake and some pear and apple and sweet corn all in there, and then they'll be able to rip into those and get some treats, and everyone will be able to say their farewells for the last time to the two amazing pandas.
And when do they fly out?
So at this stage we know that they'll be leaving on Friday. So after today they've just got to go through all their health checks and get quarantined to approve them to travel, and then Friday they will be flying out on a chartered flight from...
Now, I promise I didn't do that. It wasn't me. I didn't push anything. The plug? Jade's phone's just dropped out.
Oh, no. Oh, it was... Will was starting to get misty-eyed.
I was getting really upset.
Funny, how funny life is. Will's 2-year-old daughter Rosie, her favourite animal is the panda.
Oh, she loves pandas.
And every time Will goes to the zoo, he has to go along and...
No, we watch panda shows on TV. She's got panda toys. She loves Kung Fu Panda. No, we don't have Jade. I thought we might have had Jade back for a little bit of a moment there.
So you're heading down later, mate, to say your farewells?
No. I've got other things
You'll probably have to do a big read about it tonight on 7.
I looked in my diary.
And you'll have to do your best TV thing.
I've literally got anything else on.
Are you going to get Rosanna to read that story, are you?
No, I'll get to read it. See you, pandas. The new ones are coming. So it's not really the end of pandaism.
No, and you know, not all relationships work out in life. The new pandas might be, you know,
can you put it in a human context?
Madly into each other from the get-go.
Can you imagine if aliens came and they took you away to a zoo and they put you in some enclosure with some person you absolutely hated, and they're all going, this stupid species, why won't they just get it on? And you're thinking to yourself, oh, you know why? I can't stand this.
Wouldn't you just do it eventually out of, you know, bourne or something?
Well...
You know, the ultimate aphrodisiac in his proximity.
You're right, we are slightly... That's why we're ahead of pandas in the food chain.
That's right. So like 4 a.m. at the Tonsley Hotel.
Yeah, flashback, did you? Yeah. Matt Pantelis is coming up. after 9 o'clock. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. We're going to be back tomorrow with more Velo prizes to give away and 2 more spots to potentially be on the cruise of a lifetime. Thanks to Phil Hoffman Travel, we've added $8,000. So make sure you stay listening to us tomorrow, and indeed 5AA across the day, because you could get added to that short list. We'll see you tomorrow.